If the MLS final was in Florida, I was lucky gonna risk it all, dude. I was gonna risk it all. Oh yeah, it's working. Oh yeah. Dope. All right, the timer's set for. It's a little under 5 minutes. I can move it back down. Oh wait, I guess I could tweet it out. Tweeting it out would be good.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to tweet it out right now.
Dude, I am losing it.
I think being at home more really inspired me to do something with my room. I had the week we moved into this house was like the week of Evo, so that's just a bad week for anything. And then
Yeah, that's rough.
yeah, then I just kept traveling, and you know I'm home 3 days, gone 4, home 3 days, gone 4. So never really had the opportunity to really fall in love with my room. And then COVID happens, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to see this place for the next year and a half, maybe 2 years of my life straight, I better do something with it and put some lights or something in here, make it seem festive.
I just rearranged my game room because like we eventually we want to start doing like local lands and stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
And right before COVID happened at like a perfect time. Not really, because like we had just moved into this house.
Yeah.
We were like, oh yeah, we're gonna upgrade. We can afford a little bit more a month, and then boom, all like overnight work gone. Like, and then but we made it work. We're still out here, but I just rearranged everything. I got my melee set up back, but I can have a full team of 4 in here for COD. I can have a full team of 4 in the other room. So we've only done like really, really small get-togethers, and it's only with people that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a 3v3 Call of Duty LAN last weekend. That was pretty fun.
Nice. Super sick. Glad you guys are gaming and doing it the safe way.
Yeah. Everyone that lived in this house was in this room. Everybody that came was in the other room.
Right. I'm excited. I definitely want to give some insight on the Nintendo Melee stuff. I think obviously we all work in a different avenue with the Smash tournament, so I'm sure we may have heard and seen things that we kind of just were like, you know what, was that really what I thought it was? Or since
what a time to be alive.
Yeah, since Nintendo's showing their hand now, I figure it's best to just kind of lay out what I know and some of the things I've seen and heard and whatever. Because I commentate Smash, but Nintendo's not hiring me for events, so I get it, So I might as well just start relaying what I know.
It's there's an interesting dichotomy there. I've worked behind the scenes on broadcast for some of the online Smash Ultimate events, and I've had other interactions with Nintendo employees, and it just seems like it's one of those things that they kind of look at you and they know what the perception is and kind of how they're perceived, but it's like, listen man, when Daddy sends us an email from Japan, there's not a lot we can do. Our hands are tied.
Very true.
And it's not our IP, Mm-hmm. Like, we're all just a bunch of independent contractors doing whatever we want. And obviously we'll talk about it. And the mic's hot right now, so I don't want to give away too much what we're saying. But they have decent reason to do what they're doing. And I think we're not I think we think we're singled out, but we're not. Oh boy, 30 seconds. Oh, by the way, Mike, that picture I sent you of that new thing that's coming, that's like live.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so that will be I'll be talking about it this week.
I like it.
I like your shirt.
You like my shirt?
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the thing I was talking about.
Oh, nice. I dig it.
Yeah, only the we have these are the whatchamacallits.
They're sick.
Staff exclusive.
I made sure to wear my gaming gen merch, my combo breaker. I couldn't find like some of the other stuff you've helped me shop for, but I definitely wanted to find something close. So plus the combo breaker stuff has like the cool stitching under the sleeves. I'm like, all right, I'm sold.
All right. Woo! The timer is up, baby. Let's get into it. You know what time of week it is. It is Tuesday night. Wherever you are, we don't care as long as you're here. We're going to wind down this music. And we're going to start the LFTG Podcast. It should be a good one tonight. Episode 11. All right, I got an intro for you. I've been thinking about this all day. I was like, should I write something down? Should I do something? No, I'm just going to go whatever comes to my head. The best, right here on the podcast, episode 11, we have the best voice, the best dressed, the most style, the most swagger I've ever seen walk into any FGC room. A good friend of mine, Rodney, has come on the show. His Twitter handle is above. Episode 11, super, super special. Our first guest. And it's perfect. It's a perfect guest. I couldn't have asked for a better guest.
I'm super excited to be here. You've brought this up. I peeked into the chat, a couple weeks back. I'm like, wow, they're really hammering it out, and I think with, with everything going on in the world, having podcasts, it's breeding, content creation. And so I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Like I was looking at your guys' dynamic. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. I'll keep coming back for more. Then you messaged me and said, let's take it a step further. How about you just come on the show? I'm like, okay, let's do it. All right, I'm in your dojo.
You saw it, you're like, yeah, this is nice. I'm into it. I'm here. But first, let me explain what the show is before we get really into it. Let me explain what the show is. If you guys have not been here before, we have different segments. We have the quick scope, which is very fast topics, 2-minute topics. We just bring up basically recap pieces throughout the week of what we found interesting in esports. Then we have the reload. As everybody knows, it takes forever to reload in the game. So we put 5 minutes in each topic. But tonight is super special with the reload. We actually only have 3 topics, and we're going to drag out the topics a little bit longer tonight, get some more in-depth from Rodney about different sections of the communities that all 3 of us are involved in. So we could really talk out some issues, maybe not some issues, some good stuff, some bad stuff. But then we have upcoming events. We don't have any upcoming events because the reload's going to take forever to reload. We don't have fast mags on tonight. None of that.
I will jump in. I do have one. It's not specifically a traditional esports event. It's not an event you should check into, but I do have one thing, just a note to put a little bow, because I feel like the way the conversation is going to go, there's one quick reminder I want to give everybody. So I have one upcoming event, but it's not anything too drastic.
Okay, and as usual on brand, I do have to talk about one thing that did happen this week. Last night, my beautiful Seattle Sounders clutched a 0-2 deficit in the last 15 minutes, scored 3 goals. They're going to the MLS Cup. Seattle news. Oh, we'll talk about it. Actually, let's get into it. Okay, so our first topic of the night is the Challengers recap. Let me pull up my picture. I'm going to start my timer now. So Challengers Cup started for Call of Duty, which is, if you guys do not know, which is the amateur league. A lot of really interesting teams this year popped into the league because you had the basically de-sizing of the reduction of size in teams. It went from 5v5 to 4v4 with no expansion teams. So I'm just going to recap who took first place. Baby Phase, which was Paul, Zapdos, Gravity, and Venom. Came out of nowhere, shocked everybody. There's a lot of old talent that's in this bracket. Destroyed everyone. Everybody. Then second place, you had Glow Frosty, M. Ruiz, Mayhem, and Spart. That's a very good team as well. Second place deserved. Zinx, Pentagram, Spoof, and Stamina was in third place. And then in fourth place, we have some familiar names. Parasite, former pro, former world champion. Blast, which was played on LA Gorillas last year. Decimate, former pro, and Neptune, which is made your debut from Halo over to Call of Duty, performed amazingly. Aches, Classic Saints, and Karma came back for a tournament and streamed to 14,000 viewers. And, oh, so good. But they took 5th place, 6th place. And then LA Gorillas had an academy team, took 5th place, 6th place. Chino, Exceed, Mental, we talked about Mental a couple weeks ago, coming over from Gears of War. And then we have our 7th, 8th place was Triumph, champions from last year, Royalty, Fellow, Standy, and General, substitute for Optic Gaming. And then we have Pure, Reza, Nightmare, and Gunsy in the round off 8th place. So, really good tournament. Man, I got through that right in time. Really good tournament. Some upsets kind of happened. Baby FaZe, though, looking good. I think this top 8 is going to be consistent throughout the whole year. This top 8 is actually pretty consistent from last year as well. All of these amateurs are familiar names to the scene. I think the top 16 might fluctuate a little bit, but I think your top 8 is going to be about the same, just placing switch over. One last note, Parasite is no longer on his team. Him and Blast got in a fight, so Parasite's already looking for another team.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway there is obviously, this is a new game, and there could be some more breakout stars. Obviously, some of those more veteran players are going to stand out, and they're going to be a lot more consistent. But new game, new Challenger Series, new everything. And it's so much easier to get a 4v4 squad together and to gel quicker than it is to get 5v5, especially from the swap over to Cold War. So I think this is a good start for this next
and the amount
season.
of talent that's spread out now with 4v4 is just insane. Like, that's top 8. And I didn't even mention some of the top 16 teams, like, that still have former pros that we, like, know can perform under pressure. A lot of the amateurs perform earlier on compared to pros because their cups usually start. So pros have a higher peak, amateurs have a higher start. But speaking of Call of Duty, I have some more Call of Duty news. Roster Mania has officially started. Guess who announced their roster? Not Paris. It is Florida. Florida has announced their new roster. Pharaoh, there was a hole in the Florida Mutineers roster because of Pharaoh passing away this year. Rip Pharaoh, rest in peace. But now you have Skies, Havoc, Awakening, and Slacked. Slacked has some really big shoes to fill this year. Pharaoh, an amazing player, super, super unfortunate what happened. But Slacked, this is going to be your time to shine. You have a memory to upkeep. There's a giant hole you need to fill. And it's just, I hope the Florida squad has really good results coming into this year. I know they were an underdog last year, and they ended up taking 2 events in a row, almost a third. So I think they have a pretty good chance of being a top 6 team, but I think they're going to have a hard time breaking into there. I think they might win a cup or 2. But we also have some news for the LA Thieves. Kenny, TJ, Slasher, they were scrimming with Temp. Then Temp tweeted, this isn't working. Pick me up, who has a free challengers team. And then Temp deleted all that, and now they're scrimming with Temp again. So it looks like it's going to be Temp. And I think it's been about 54 days since Paris Legion has tweeted. So we still don't know what they're doing. They're the last squad remaining. Last we heard of them, Kismet said they were wanting a London host for an online tournament series when everyone lives in Dallas. Good luck with that. Yeah. And last but not least, Seattle Surge. If you do not tweet about any of your Seattle teams winning any freaking games, I'm going to lose my mind, man.
Alex, wait, I know this has become a theme. This is a running gag every week, especially talking about Paris not tweeting, and now you're saying Seattle. Okay, we need to find out, are there actual job postings for social media directors?
No, there's not. I know who the social media director is, and I'm not saying his name. You know who you are. You're a local team. The city cares about their teams. Tweet about it to say, hey, we support you. You support us. Seattle Surge was going to have their home stand in the same place where their soccer team and football team plays. Tweet about those teams. They were gonna host you. Problem, man. All right, but you got some news for me.
Yeah, we're seeing, things are crazy right now in this COVID style world. And even though there aren't really a lot of majors happening, the boys over at Flashpoint are going ham. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. For season 2, we have an all online CSGO major with a $1 million prize pot.
Chump change.
There, I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen.
As soon as they hit 4.6, dude, they have to hit 4.6. It's not chump change no more.
Well, even though they only have chump change as a prize pot, especially for an online tournament,
4.6 was online for champs.
This is how serious we are getting now with online events. And more specifically, the other thing that I wanted to mention, Alex, I know I've sent you a couple of the videos, especially the tweets. The content that they are using to build up to this event with Thorin, so good, it makes you want to kiss the sky. This is the story-driven, wacky, nonsensical content that we have all needed to see, because everything is just, we're getting so boxed in, especially with Counter-Strike. We're seeing other orgs and other events that are just like, oh, well, this team, are they going to come back? Are they going to win? They're the underdogs. They're going to do this. No, they got Thorin like pretending he's an archaeologist and like digging up previous stuff from team events and other things. It's incredible to see. I'm really, really enjoying it.
No, I think online tournaments like this are very, very good. It keeps the community alive. It keeps the content flowing, especially unique content. It kind of reminds me of what Reciprocity used to do with their teams back in the day. So it's really refreshing to see something come to light, something that we can all kind of get behind and just kind of gravitate around and just enjoy. I think that is the big thing that we really need right now as an esports community. Let's build something, make something that we can enjoy and we can really get into. So when it comes around, the community can still get together, even though it's just online, and still root for their teams and still have a good time.
Yeah, and I think to kind of add to that as well, I like the fact that some of these online events are starting to shell out more cash. I think at a very basic level, obviously, we don't have to pay venue. They're not paying for, talent and paying teams and stuff for sponsorships. A lot of this money now they can kind of save and allocate in different areas. And I also think, playing online sometimes could kind of hurt people because a lot of these people are traveling to tournaments, not really so much for the actual games themselves, but really, Alex, you and I, we've shared the dance floor numerous times. Like when I show up, I'm like, I'm not here to see Alex play in bracket. I'm here to see Alex on the dance floor ready to have fun. So I think a good way to kind of stuff. Yeah, and I think a good way to supplement that camaraderie, that time lost is really only, with money. I think money is the closest thing on the planet that can really supplement time.
Yeah.
And even that is still really far off. But as we all know, this won't be forever. But I guess fingers crossed for another $1 million in-person event too. I would certainly like to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think it helps with legitimacy as well. We're getting so many more eyes on these bigger scale tournaments with traditional sports, being waning, and they were in limbo for so long. Any tagline that you see in the news article, it says $1 million Counter-Strike tournament, it's going to catch eyes.
Yeah. You got to pull in eyes. I know Call of Duty did a really good job with their $4.6 million champs. And it was like, that was like their hot button. That's why I always say chump change. Like it's a running joke that we have on the show. I always say chump change because it's like 4.6 for an online tournament is wild. Like they had the delay matches, like someone got booted off, someone got DDoS first round, and they had to make a crazy first round comeback in losers. But like this type of prize pot for this type of game, I think this game especially really needed something like this because this game was struggling even before. I use struggling hesitantly, but people were thinking about other games. Before it was always Counter-Strike, what's Counter-Strike doing as far as shooters going? But Valorant comes around, kind of pulls some attention. Call of Duty pulls a little bit of attention there too. And so I think this is a really good exclamation mark for Counter-Strike during this time that they really, really needed. But it looks like Mike was wanting to talk about something else.
That's a good segue into the next topic. This past weekend, we saw the first Strike finals for all of the regions. This is the first major and official tournament series for Valorant. I'm not going to say who
Tell
won.
me who won.
NA. I'm not going to say who won NA.
Well, we're going to start selling
you
hoodies
can go on
soon,
Twitter
too. So we're going to start selling hoodies soon. But so you might as well tell me who won, so we can buy their hoodie, too.
Hoodie selling organizations
Win.
100 Thieves somehow squeaked out a narrow victory.
He
beating
goes
TSM
30
in
years
grand
old,
finals,
dude. You say
3-1.
somehow they lost to a 30-year-old.
They cannibalized their Counter-Strike team and threw all their chips into Valorant, and it just, it pulled off this one time.
They bought they bought a $25 million Call of Duty slot, okay? They didn't just buff up their Valorant team. They did some more with their money. Give them that. But hey, you're looking at me like that, but guess what? They won. They're selling hoodies, they're making content, and they won. Do you know why they won? Because they were able to buy the players with the hoodies that they sold and the content that people watch.
Well, speaking of winners, the true winners here are the fans.
Yes.
Because over the 3 days of the event, their actual event schedule just for broadcast was roughly 24 hours. We're talking a solid day worth of content spread over 3 days for each of the different regions. And the NA finals, just on Twitch alone, peaked over 300K concurrent viewers. So
that's awesome.
Valorant has obviously kind of slotted themselves in, kind of had a great launch, kind of a rocky kind of establishment as far as the community and tournaments. Obviously with COVID, that threw things into a loop, but they seem to have really solid footing right now. And more importantly, we just got a huge update for Counter-Strike Global Offensive that really seems to have taken some inspiration from Valorant, namely with the ping system. So now you can actually ping locations in Counter-Strike. Never had been done before. You had to actually call out actual portions of the map before. And also they have new stat features. So when you're playing a match, it'll actually tell you the likelihood of you winning that round based on the economy and kill death ratio. And there's so much more quality of life update. It's nuts.
I'm so sad that these kids can just ping people and not learn the maps. Do you know how satisfying it is to be like, he's top red window. Bro, I'm going to miss callouts. Because you can ping in Call of Duty now too, and it's just like, yeah, he's over there, and it's just this big triangle. But where's the passion? I want to hear some freaking callouts, man. I want to hear a bunch of people yelling at each other. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. All right. I don't have anything to add there. You kind of nailed that, Mike. Mike usually gets me mad about something, but I'm not mad this time around. He's just right.
Well, I'll just go ahead, even though it's off topic. I'll throw it in there. Since you went at me on Twitter. You know what? Here's the thing. Envy placed first place in the Rocket League regional finals.
Doesn't even have a team in that.
And somehow that's not news. 100 Thieves winning Valorant is bigger news than Envy getting another trophy for 2020.
True. But also nobody talked about NRG winning back-to-back Overwatch finals.
We talked about it.
We talked about it, but do you know why nobody else talked about it?
Because they didn't watch.
No, they didn't watch because they didn't make content. They didn't make content, so we don't know about it. If they made content, maybe you would know about their team. That's why everybody roots for Optic Gaming at the end of the year. Man, dude, I'm a Seattle fan. Listen, I'm a Seattle fan, okay? But I'm low-key rooting for Optic when they're not playing Seattle. I'm like, hey, you guys better win. If you guys are making all these videos, you guys better win. All right, we're going to hop into the reload. The reload's going to be a little bit different today. Today, we only have 3 topics. I'm giving us a little bit more time. I have a timer, but it's literally hypothetical because we have a guest. And with a guest, anything can happen. But today, I am wanting to talk about the importance of production. I think, so if you guys do not know, I like to bring up more discussion pieces. I feel like I'm the discussion piece guy, and then Mike's the controversy guy, and we kind of just go at it from Mike's filling up his pantry with cans of beans, preparing for the future and how it's the world's gonna end. And I just want to talk about that. I just want to talk about the world. Let's just sit back and. But I want to talk about the importance of production, and this kind of leads in to something that made me a little bit mad this weekend. We talked about challengers a little bit earlier. The Call of Duty League did not provide an official stream for their Challengers League. The community actually provided the stream on Twitch, not YouTube, where the Call of Duty League is partnered. Could have potentially caused issues, but I think Call of Duty League made a gigantic undervalue mistake of not producing the Challengers League, because the base of your community are people that go 0-2 in your bracket. It's literally half of your player base. It's half of your viewership. And this was an amazing incentive loss for potential sponsorships. That's what I have to say.
I think even like outside of sponsorships too, I think production just holds a very big place in everybody's heart. Whether you are very competitive or you're semi-competitive because of work and you can't travel, or you're just very a casual player, or maybe you don't play at all and you're just a fan of a team. I think the importance of production is very serious, and production helps bring new eyes. Even without sponsorships, I've called myself, on Twitch a couple times just scrolling, and I'm like, let's see what Call of Duty, let's see what Valorant, let's see what all these other, these games that I don't really play are up to. And I'm like, you know what? Had somebody from production not provided setups, had somebody from production not put this on the internet, I would never have known anything about this game other than just what I see in Twitter clips or what I see from, game developers posting cutscenes and stuff. So I think, even as myself as a commentator, I think I get a lot of praise, for commentary and all, you rocked it and blah, blah, blah. But I always tell people, I'm only as good as my production. If they don't put on the show, I don't have a job. If they don't turn the stream on, I can't talk, so I'm literally the last piece of the totem pole. I don't know, I don't know what it is sometimes. I think, sometimes esports, their opinion of what they think production is and it's important sometimes can be a little skewed, and I don't know, that it rubs me a type of way. It rubs me funny.
I feel like you say you're at the bottom of the totem pole, but you have like casters and the people that are the face of these productions. They're lifting the production up. They have to be working together. They have to be in sync. Like, even though the production was putting something on, like with you and a lot of the Smash events, even the production, they might be showing the game, but that production's nothing without that caster. So I think what these because the casters actually threw this community stream up for the Challengers League, and it went pretty well. The one thing that was lacking though was the visuals. They never updated the score. They just didn't do simple things. And like I debated about reaching out to these guys, like, hey, like I run tournaments on the side, like this is my stuff. Like I'll do this. I'll volunteer my time and I'll let you guys cast as much as you guys want. I'll update your score. I'll update the names on the screen. I'll do whatever I can. But I think I just feel like production needs to be first, because man, just like you said, that's how people are going to discover you. That's how people are going to follow the players. If you have players in your league, or if you have a league at all, people are going to only know about it if you put the content out there. I love the lights, dude.
Sorry, my light is dying, so I got it.
I love production value.
Right. Speaking of production, God dang it. Alrighty, here we go. Got to make sure I'm charged up. My bag.
No, dude, I love it so much. Yo, we turned on face cam when we first got the call, and I was just, dude. I heard the music. I don't know what you were listening to, but I heard it.
Yeah, I was in laser tag mode. That's right.
But yeah, no, I feel like production's severely undervalued in this situation, and I feel like there's a lot of things, whether if you're a business person, there's a lot of advantages that having a production can have. You can better your company in a lot of ways just by having even a simple production. But something like this, and I think, with the Smash Brothers community, you've seen some monthlies, you've seen some even stacked regionals that just have a very lackluster production, and it doesn't keep eyes on it. It might be a crazy stacked bracket, and it might be the most exciting games that people will talk about years from now,
Mm-hmm.
but people won't know about it because it wasn't produced in a way that was engaging. And it's simple to do, man. Like,
Yeah.
you just got to communicate with the people. I mean, Mike, you've worked with a lot of productions. What do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the biggest takeaway that a lot of people don't know, like when you sit down and like you're watching on Twitch or you're watching an event or even like a VOD, an event that happened a while ago, a lot of people don't understand the actual time and effort that goes in behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And one of the things, even specifically within the situation with Call of Duty, that's a huge AAA company. Maybe they didn't allocate budget for this production, to stream the challengers. Maybe they just, from a logistical standpoint, were like, well, we don't really have the team right now because everybody's working remote and all the resources we'd rather put into this. But that's the thing. And Rodney, I'll kick that to you. I don't know how many people know how much time and effort goes in. It's not just like the stream goes live and then here you are doing commentary. Like on average, how many hours do you show up prior to the broadcast actually going live to actually start putting in work?
It's funny. I've answered this question before, and I feel like I answer it differently every time because I think it really just depends on like each tournament. So like, for instance, you know what? I'll use Evo for an example. I think we've all been to that event or, whatever. We've all been to that area of the United States. And, that hotel is just so goddamn big. So, like, I mean, literally, it's a 10-minute walk just from your hotel. In the hotel, it's a 10-minute walk from the hotel, down the elevators, to the venue. But I usually try to show up like a good 10, 15 minutes. And I think a large part of that's attributed to, some like my background in music. I used to play in a band and stuff. And, it's just always best to be early. Early is on time. And I know the type of pressure that, people in production are dealing with. The minute that, you hit go on stream at 8 a.m., you are biting your nails, you are ripping your hair out, you are sweating up until the 11th hour until it's done, just to do it all again Saturday and Sunday. And so I feel like if anything else, I should be able to help out production a little bit. Like, hey, I'm here. Like, so if anything happens with these two people, I can jump in early. If you want to start on time, of course I'm here for that or whatever. Or if you want to tell me, hey, we're switching something up, I'm glad you're here. I want to be sure to tell you about this new sponsor. They jumped in last second, so I just always try to jump in just a little bit early. Of course, there's people as well. They sometimes might want to touch up your makeup or something. I mean, it's just always best to be a little early. I think maybe not so much for myself, because in my hotel room, I'm watching a lot of it on Twitch, like the brackets and who beat who. And I got Twitter up so I can see the off stream matches. But I think for production, I try to, boost them up a little bit. I want to make sure that as much as they are in my corner, I try to make sure I can help them out in their corner.
Well, I think what you said was very valuable to any production team, because you watching it while you're not there and you paying attention while you're not there shows that you care about it. And Mike, I'm going to touch on what you said earlier. If they don't have the budget or they don't have the people to pay for this production, they have the wrong people working for them because they don't really care. Because the people that threw this volunteered their time and they did it for free. There's a lot of people that would give their arm or a leg to do that job for free because they really, really care about the esport. And I feel like, Rodney, that's why you're so good at what you do, because I do see you show up early. You are there. Hey, if you need me, I'm here. And a lot of times you're used in that way because someone doesn't care as much as you do, and you get that slot. And I feel like so valuable.
It is. Well, and I think a large part of that is attributed to I'm from Nebraska, and I'm not trying to throw any dirt on where I'm from. Nebraska is pretty much what you think it is in the majority of it. I live in Omaha, so Omaha's the only place with, like, I guess, real people. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but and I guess we have the college town too, 30 minutes. Well, we have Lincoln, we have the Cornhuskers here and whatever. So we got a lot of young people in this part, but it's funny. I worked an event at Thunder Studios last summer. This was the weekend before Evo, so I flew out to LA, and I was like, I'm just gonna drive up to Evo. No sense in flying. Might as well. I'm here, and I forgot to pick up my check because they were doing paper checks. Strangely enough, they don't do like the net 30 thing. So I'm like, cool. Well, let me just come grab my check, snap a photo of it, boom, put it in my bank account. But I missed it, so I went up there the next day and I met a person in accounting. He tells me, we're just shooting this shit. And he's like, where are you from? And I can tell he's not used to having conversation because he's in charge of the money. So people are just kind of like, where's my check? And then they just leave. So him and I are talking and he's like, oh, you're from Nebraska. And then he hits me with the, I know somebody from there. And I'm like, I'm sure you do. And that's cool. And he's telling me, like, so how does somebody from Nebraska like get to this? Like you're doing this thing. How did that work? And I just told him like, when you've never had it, you're gonna fight to keep it. You're gonna do whatever it takes in your, in your fiber, every fiber of your being to keep it. Some of the people who live out in LA, some of the people who live out in New York or Chicago, where esports is a little bit bigger. There's more opportunities. It's very easy to become lethargic. It's very easy to become like a little lazy.
Content.
Approach. It's very easy because it's just it's just here in my backyard. I don't need to travel. I don't need to do anything. It's just here. But I don't have anything here. So I'm like, wherever I go, it is a vacation. Of course, Alex, again, you can attribute to this. We've danced on the dance floor. I mean, I am having fun.
Yeah.
But I am also, trying to play chess and make sure that I am, representing myself properly, and I can, work my way into the next event. I can, build new comrades, and not just business connections. I'm talking like comrades, like real lifetime connections. So I can make my time at esports enjoyable. And so that's really the big deal for me. And that's why, like, a lot of times I show up early, because I know how it feels. A lot of these people in production fought long and hard to get to where they're at, especially in fighting games, a traditionally grassroots area. A lot of these people are doing this for free. So I'm like, you've made it to this point. You made it to the big leagues. The least I can do is be here early and help you out if anything goes wrong. Like, I feel like that's every commentator should be like that. Just show up early. Okay. You weren't doing it. You were in your hotel room sleeping. Just show up early. 15 minutes won't hurt you.
I mean, there's other people that wish that they were doing what you're doing. And and to touch on a little bit of what you said earlier, like man, dude, I cannot hit that dance floor until I am done putting every single setup back into the truck. And I got to do it in a way where I know it's going to get back safely, and I got to do it in a way where it's time management with the TO. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but I'm having fun doing that, and I'm having a lot of fun after that. I mean, Mike, him and I work together, and I just love working with Mike. Him and I just talk. We're talking the whole time. We're just putting stuff up. One time we were working a Pokemon event, trying to watch Overwatch finals, watching San Francisco stomp the life out of another team, and then but we were just having a good time, even though it was still hard work. But I think subconsciously in our head, we know there's a ton of people waiting in line to do what we're doing. Every single event, whether you have a staff badge or production badge, no matter what, someone's coming up to you and they're asking you, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you get into it? And it's just something, and this is what I tell everybody, no matter what scene you're in and no matter what game you're into, you have to do it for free for a long time, and you have to prove your work. It's like an internship. It's like an unknowing internship. You go into it and you start doing it, and then once someone notices that you're doing it well, they'll pick you up.
Well, and I think to add to that as well, both of you work. My job is, I guess, difficult, but when I see you guys, do what you do, I'm like, wow, these guys here, like, these are the real unsung heroes. Like, these, I mean, they're on their feet all day. You get, I don't know how many breaks you get in a weekend, maybe a couple. There's only a handful of you guys as well too. So if somebody goes down, they're sick, or hey Alex, I got hammered Friday, I can't do it, dude. You gotta go handle it. Hey Mike, I need you to cover. You have to. You might.
That's usually how that conversation goes.
That's right. And to add to what you said about there's somebody always there. I took a lot of mega buses. Like there were things happening, and I was like, I need to be a part of this. I took a mega bus at least 8 times in 2015 and 16 to go to Chicago. That's 10 hours. I drove to Michigan a lot, Wisconsin, like, I really wanted to make sure I made this stuff happen. And, even if there are people who are asking you, I've always been a firm believer that if you tell them what it is, because I think when people ask, they want to hear this, man, so one day I was just with my boy Mike and we were struggling, and this company came up to us and was like, I love your grind. Here's a job. And it wasn't like that, but I've like, look, if you show people how the sausage gets made, they won't want the sausage. And so I'm like, you know what? You need the self-discovery yourself. Keep showing up, keep absorbing everything around, keep doing it for free. Yes, I know people are like, dude, free? How does that work? Look, trust me.
Just do it.
Trust me, do it. It works. I always tell people my story. DreamHack Austin was really like the jump off point for myself. And I messaged Jabali, I think had just became the FGC director. So he really wasn't working with a lot of budget.
14 or 15, right?
I think this is like 15 or 16. This is one of the two. But he just got the job, and he's working with minimal budget. I don't know what the relationship was, but he just got this job. So I'm like, hey Jabali, I know we've never really spoke, but I'm trying to come to DreamHack and I'm trying to become a commentator. I want to, do the thing here. And I shit you not, he like, if you message an email and like they're not there, you get the frame one automatic, like, we're not here, we're swimming this weekend. I mean, it was, hey,
really
not working with a lot of budget. I don't got hotel money for you. I don't got this, I don't got that. But if if you think you're good enough, I'll ask around about you and whatever. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And it's like Wednesday, DreamHack's Thursday. Haven't even booked my flight yet. He finally emails me back and said, hey, can you still make it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, where are you located at? And I'm like, I'll tell you when I get there. And so I ended up buying this $500, $600 last second flight. And I get there and I do the job. He pulled me off to the side and was like, hey, just want to let you know, I was a little tough. I was just a little frantic. This is the first of, very many to come. And, I'm glad that you're a part. I can't obviously pay you, whatever, but, there was some budget allocated somewhere else. And I was like, I can, shoot you a little something off to the side. And I was like, you know what? I told him, like, I honestly would have had done it for free. I really just wanted this. Like, I wanted to speak. Mm-hmm. I wanted to have this face-to-face, non-internet connection. And so he asked me, are you going to Combo Breaker? Are you going to this? Are you going to that? And I was like, yeah, I'm going. That's what I wanted to hear. He was like, yeah, let's chat then. Because, all right, let's chat means, okay, let's
do it. yeah, that's good news.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, keep showing up for free. Keep, reaching out. Just keep doing that. Just keep absorbing. There's some, the human connection, the human experience. Top 8, top 16, 32. Then there's the after party. We're all getting dinner. You're building memories. Keep absorbing the game and keep showing up.
You can do it from wherever you're from, too. Mm-hmm. Like, I started out as a local TO from Utah. And the next thing you know, I was thrown into event managing the first GTX, which took place, like, in a stadium. And it was just, like, it was doing it for free for years. Like, that's how I met my wife. I met her at a Call of Duty event that I was hosting.
Nice.
In a trampoline park, like, with no ceiling, music, kids yelling, and we had 100 teams in Utah for a Call of Duty 2v2 search and destroy tournament. So it just kind of goes from one to another. Like, build your resume, be consistent, man. Consistency, whether it's production, whether it's TOing, whether it's being a camera person, whether it's being a player or a coach, anything involving this industry, be consistent, because people will see your consistency. They'll know you show up. They'll know you show up on time, and you'll get the job done.
Yeah, and be consistent in the right ways as well too, because there's a lot of people who are showing up and doing it wrong. Like, man, I really want a job. I really want to do this in esports, but every event that I see them at, they're just completely obliterated. Saturday night, and I'm like, yo, Saturday night is primetime networking hours. Everybody's out. Go say hi, get some business cards, whatever. I mean, even with myself, I realized that, once you do one big one, you can't just go back to doing weeklies for 6 months and then pop back up in another big one. Yeah. I got a second job. I was working 7 to 7 Monday through Friday. I was a nanny in the morning time. I was teaching in the evenings, Monday through Friday. I'm flying out Friday night, flying home Sunday morning or early Monday morning so I can get back in time for, work. And, you just have to be consistent the right ways. And I think there's something that should just click. And I feel like when I've had to explain this to people, especially fresh people, they're like, no, I'm going to school for this, man. No, trust me, I'm fine. I got this. I say, yeah, but what they don't teach you sometimes in school is how to be a human being and how to,
how to interact.
And how to interact. And I don't know, man. I'm glad that, I've met obviously both of you. I'm glad, of the work that you both do in the community. I'm glad I met you under the circumstances that I did, because I'm like, yo, these two here are going in. Like, I know my work ethic. Okay. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know for sure I could not do what you both do. I know I couldn't do it.
It's easier than you think.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it's easier than you think. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do work really, really hard Thursday night and Sunday night. But hey, man, if our equipment's not broken, we're kind of good. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
No, but like we do definitely put the hours in on, like, when it comes to set up and tear down. But let's kind of move into something that we all have a commonality in, and something that I met you through. I'm not even going to throw a timer up on this. We're going to talk about the Smash community, where it's at. Yeah, where it's going, And
do it.
what is the possibility? I'm going to do the full transition on this one, the full LFTG wipe. All right,
Nice.
let's get into it. All right, the Smash community, if you guys not know, is kind of in turmoil. Nintendo has said no. The first time they have said no since, 2013 EVO. And the reason why they have said no is a kind of a bit obscure. A lot of people don't know. They kind of actually did a blanket cease and desist for all third-party modders. So this actually started off as a Switch thing. There was a couple of companies that were doing mods for the Switch and selling hardware that Nintendo didn't like. And I think they kind of just stumbled upon Slippy, and they were just like, yeah, no, this is our IP. This is not yours. We need to make sure you own a physical copy of Smash. I know I can download Slippy because I own like 6 or 7 physical copies of Smash. You know, Nintendo, just let me play your freaking game online because you're not going to make a dime off of more people possibly buying it or not because you don't make any more new copies. But there is a logistical thing. If I did own the business, I do understand why Nintendo reached out. But this is also putting the Ultimate community in kind of disarray because whether you're a fan of Melee or you're not, whether you're a fan of Ultimate or you're not, we're attached. We're attached together. We're all going down the same road. I'm a Melee person myself. Rodney, I met you commentating a completely different game in my eyes, and I was like, yo, this guy's sick. The communities are connected in multiple ways than one. And Mike, you work in the Melee. You basically work for the Melee and Ultimate community, and you don't really play either one.
No, that's the funny thing is I have been at events and people have asked me to run sets with them. I honestly don't play. That's the thing is like you can be a member of the community. Like if you just go to events like just to soak up the atmosphere and kind of like Rodney, like you touched on, like you're making memories, you're making friends, you're literally forming yourself into this mold to be someone within this community. I don't play the game, but I have people that, people come to me and they're like, I'm respected. I'm a member of this community. I have insight. It doesn't matter if you're good at the game or don't even play the game. You are welcome.
Yeah. I think that's that grassroots in us, and I think that's one thing that we all share is that we are connected differently and we still have fun at these events. We still figure out ways to, when you're walking around and you might have a GameCube controller in your hand, you might not, or, somebody asks you for a game. I don't
Mine's
even play.
in my LFTG fanny pack. You can go to LFTG.official.com and buy your LFTG fanny pack.
This man has a fanny pack that is almost form factor molded for a GameCube controller. Nothing else will fit in it.
Hey, and it's LFTG branded, bro. I know you all seen it.
Nice. Or like, if we're walking around, there's a small crowd of a hype set, it's some last match out of pools and somebody's playing. You're like, wow, I don't really know what's going on, but I understand the competitiveness. I know that there is a lot on the line here that's going to affect both of these two players' bracket journey after this point. I want to share it in person and say that I've seen this live. Like there's a lot of these sets that they're wonderful to watch online. They're wonderful to, to watch on Twitter, on Periscope, but the stories are always better when you're like, hey, I was there though.
Yeah.
It was different.
There's a different, especially something with like the Smash community where it hasn't had corporate support and it has really been a community that's brought itself up and really held itself up on a pedestal. When the crowd gets electric, dude, there's nothing like it. It's like going to a city sports game where everybody's supporting the same thing no matter what. Even if HBox win, hopefully no one throws a crab, But everybody's supporting the game and everybody's there for one reason. Whether it's Melee or it's Ultimate, there's 1,000 people signing up for a 19-year-old children's party game. We're all almost 30 years old. We all drink a little bit too much.
Maybe just a smidge.
It's too much, but we're all there for the same reason. Yeah, you don't. I've seen you, Mike.
I like that. You're like, we're almost 30 years old, bro. I'm sitting here 33 straight edge. I don't hit either one of those boxes.
Hey, I have caught you with a 40. DreamHack Atlanta. I'll never forget.
Yes,
I'll never forget. But
There are stories for sure.
but we're all there for the same reason. I mean, and there's crossover. Like I'll watch Ultimate,
Sure.
and then Ultimate will watch Melee, even though we quote unquote hate each other. But I think it's what is crazy. What is crazy right now is that we're in turmoil over a company shutting one of these things down where they don't gain anything to profit, and they could easily
Well,
profit off of this.
I agree. And, every time I've had this conversation, I always tackle it from a different, section. And today I'm feeling like, it's, I think there is a heavy level of artistry that goes into business, and there's a good level of business that should go into your artistry. But in that subcategory of artistry, there's the separating artistry from antics.
Mm-hmm.
And I have part of me kind of understands where Nintendo's coming from. From our perspective, we are basing our model off of what we see, with Smash and Ultimate and Melee, or Melee and Smash 4, whatever, off of what we see from Capcom and what we see from NetherRealm and what we see from, like Tekken, the World Tour. And, those games are bred to be competitive. Like, it's in that game's DNA. Mm-hmm. That's what the developers work towards, okay? And I know we can say competitiveness is subjective, but if the developers outright say this is not supposed to be that, we kind of have to take it for what it is. They say, here's the Ultimate community, here's Melee. We know what you want. Okay, we know that competitively this would probably make us a lot of money. But I think when you get to a level of like, there's only a couple companies that are like this. It's like Disney, Nintendo, Jordan brand. Like these are Nike and stuff. Like these are companies that it's no longer about money. It's about now the legacy. It's about the innovativeness. It's about how we're moving this game and this stuff forward. And I think that Nintendo just doesn't see the innovativeness behind. You want to just, first of all, you're already not playing our game correctly. So you want to circuit for that. And you want us to put a bunch of money towards it, and then when it's all said and done, somebody just wins, and then we just do it all again. Like I see where they're coming from with it, but on the opposite end of that as well, if you don't want to give us money, if you don't want to support us, that's perfectly fine, because we're grassroots. And I think the meaning of grassroots is different than just we don't have money. It's if you put us anywhere, we're grass, we're gonna grow.
Yep.
Now Nintendo, a way to kind of counteract that is we're gonna let you grow because you're too thick to cut. But we're going to let you grow, but we're going to put a thing over you. So now you get to grow the way we want you to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to make you kind of grow the way we want. And the telling Red Bull not to get involved, telling Twitch and stuff to not get involved, it leaves a slight bad taste in my mouth, but when I really think about it from a business level, this is their IP. They do have the right to say, you can't do this at this level with this. Now, have other tournaments done stuff with Slippy? Absolutely. Okay. Big shout out to BTS. Some of those people might go back and watch. Gommel, I think Gommel did Slippy online for Melee. Okay, like I love the fact that we're doing this. Like this, the very nature of Slippy and Project M and Project Plus and 64 Remix, like the very nature of these games' existence, and not just their existence, but the very nature of players playing these games at a top level proves that we are like the most legitimate grassroots scene ever. Like it's like without a doubt.
Our viewership shows it though, because we have viewership even from other communities. You have people like even Ninja talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, and he comes from the Halo community, which started out as a grassroots community and then eventually evolved into something that got supported by the developer, even though the original developer of Halo didn't want anything to do with MLG. They were like, I guess we'll put your settings in the game. Maybe in 6 months we'll update it. And it's like, the thing is, what you're not allowing to happen as and I understand it, because like I'm starting a business and it's a legitimate business, and if someone took my logo and they put it on someone else without my permission, I'd be like, hey yo, look, you need to chill. I'm gonna hit you with something crazy. But but if I wasn't doing anything with that logo and they were helping me propel it, and I was profiting from it, I would be like, all right. All Nintendo would need to do is be like, hey, look, we'll allow you to run these tournaments. We're going to take X amount. I think let's say, well, just blanket statement, 10%.
Sure.
We're going to take 10% what you run off your esport. I think there is what people don't know is I feel like there's a big mismanagement of sponsorship dollars. There's a lot more sponsorship dollars that are coming in and just kind of going into the wrong places. They're going towards lights and something that matters, but they could put it towards something a little bit better. I mean, that's my opinion. That's a controversial opinion, especially being
That's
in this.
not a bad opinion.
Especially being in the community. That X amount of dollars can go to something a little bit better. Maybe not making your tournament look as flashy, but maybe making it run a little bit better. And if that 10% was going to Nintendo, and that they were making that 10%, I feel like if they were to support it, and someone like Red Bull, or people that they've shunned away before because they don't see the competitive side of their game, if they were to take 10% of those sponsorship dollars that are going to extra stuff, our tournaments wouldn't change at all.
I think, and I think it all goes back around to money. But it kind of goes back around to what I said. I think at this level, I don't think it's about money anymore. I mean, if you go back and, we read that tweet longer. I know we've all read it. And, a lot of it in there, I do believe. I do believe that Nintendo historically, they have the most recognizable characters on the planet right up there with Disney. Like, everybody knows Mario, Pikachu, Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Donald. We all know those people. The problem is that they have never been in a position of want. They've gotten everything that they want. These companies have said, you don't have to pay half. You don't even have to pay anything. We will front everything. We just want to do it because it's you. When you've given a company that type of mindset in their head for this long of time, they're at the top of their game. I mean, look at it this way. We were both at CEO together. I remember we were all at CEO. And that year, Nintendo had a booth. They had a booth. Now think about this. Think about what Melee and think about the relationship that Melee and CEO has, okay? I remember commentating Top 8 at 2017, and Jabali had to cut Top 8 to give a speech about how Melee really helped CEO grow all those years ago. And, they've never given a dime to Jabali. They've never done anything like that to Jabali. I mean, I don't know what the relationship is. I don't want to say it's a bad one. But for a company to never do anything like that for you, especially at a tournament where that is how this tournament survives, off of company support from Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but Capcom Pro Tour, and Tekken World Tour and everything, they don't do anything for you, and yet you give them space at your event. This lets me know that, yes, I love Jabali to death, and he's a powerful ass dude, financially, physically, everything. But Nintendo is just on another level. Like, they don't have to do anything for anybody, and they can just show up and take 75% of your arena with a Nintendo booth. Now, I do see. I see what Smash can be at a top esports level.
Yeah.
But I think that aesthetically, Nintendo just does not want that. They don't want that competitive. They don't want to be put in that same category of here's these fun games, and then we have this over here, like that, because that kind of falls to that category of Street Fighter and Tekken and stuff. And I think they've always really prided themselves as a company of doing their own thing. Like, they were like, no, we don't do that. We play ARMS. Like, no, yeah, you can fight, but hold these Joy-Cons, do this.
Yeah, do that.
This is what we like. Oh yeah, Splatoon, I mean, we're shooting, but it's ink.
But
okay?
I do want to jump in there because I actually have experience working behind the scenes directly with Nintendo of North America. I have people I've met that work in the treehouse, and it's interesting to see their viewpoint and kind of their mentality going forward. One of the first examples I want to bring up is working with them behind the scenes for when they first started the online Smash Ultimate tournament series. One of the biggest backlash they got was that they had items on. And, sitting there literally in the broadcast room and talking with representatives from Nintendo and how much time and effort they put into it, for them to get feedback from the community, it's like, oh, well, this isn't a real tournament because it's online and you guys are using items and you guys are doing it all wrong. Like, you're talking to Nintendo, who literally designed the game. They're throwing this tournament. They didn't have to do any form of competitive Smash whatsoever. We know that Nintendo, with the Play Versus organization that they've kind of set up, they kind of share tweets as far as hey, here's a tournament that's going on and whatnot. But when we saw the release trailer for the Switch, they showed a portion of two teams meeting in a stadium playing Splatoon. They've been slowly dipping their toes into more, I don't even want to call it esports, it's just competitive formats.
Yeah.
And when they receive backlash from the community, and they themselves, as a Japanese company, their mindset is completely different than all these other organizations that are out here. And so when they see something that they don't like, they don't approve of, and like you were saying, this like Disney-esque kind of hierarchy of, well, we don't want our brand to be lessened by what you guys are doing with this. And that's really telling, especially for, you know, the Melee community in particular. It's completely understandable why they don't want specifically anybody touching or promoting that game, because again, it's their IP, but they're not actually making anything off of it, and there's nothing they can really do about it now at this point. Smash Ultimate, when they were budgeting out the promotion for that, we saw at E3 they had a tournament style staging that was all about competitive. They had so many players. They've done the invitationals with with all the players come out.
Even look when the matches start. The two character and they I mean, that is very esports. That is. That I can, when we all watched E3, I know we all watched it pretty much together like the same day. And I seen MK Leo versus Zero, and it's the Mario and Sonic, and I just see the two characters hit the screen, their character art. I'm like, oh, this is the direction we should be moving in. This is esports style stuff implemented into the game. This is versus, and I think that it's the innovativeness that Smash is lacking, and not because of what it is as a game, but for how it's played. And when I see games like Mario Odyssey or Splatoon or ARMS, it's very easy to pick up on like the innovative qualities in that game right away. It works right along with the hardware. Smash, on the other hand, is the only game that is played at this level that doesn't really need the shake function or rumble or any sort of weird anything like that. It's just controller.
You studied the game for the game, not for the mechanics.
Yeah, the game for the game and not the mechanics. When Nintendo sees that, they're like, well, here's Splatoon. We want to push this. Like, this is different. Here's ARMS. This is different. Here's Pokken Tournament. This is different. This is Pokemon, Street Fighter style, one half of the game, other half of the game, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto style. Like, there's that. But then we got Smash. There's no storyline. There's no story mode campaign. It's just kind of like a glorified party mode. It's almost like a glorified something from Mario Party where we just drop our mascots in and give them items, and they just kind of do a thing, like, and they just fight, and then whoever has the most, like I see where they're coming from with it, but what I would want more than anything is for them to address, like, just put out a statement, okay? I'm all for cease and desist, whatever. That's what you want to do. I mean, you did it on a hell of a tournament. Like, the Big House is like, you want more.
The best tournament last year, arguably.
Yeah, like Genesis, the Big House tournaments like those really help shape this community. And like when you put weird stuff like that on those tournaments, like, you're asking for a battle. So just give us a reason. But I also want to say too that I feel like, and this could be a very hot take depending on who's watching or whatever, I feel like a good chunk of this is also our fault as well. Now, the beauty of us as a community that we've existed this long, self-sustaining for 20 years. Now, of course, as we've seen with everything that has happened in the summertime, when you've allowed us to govern ourselves, as we've seen bad things that have happened. So, of course, there is a beauty to this ugliness. But I do think that the implication of the Smash World Tour was huge. That was huge. That was our hey, we don't need Nintendo anymore. We got our own thing. But I feel like the World Tour was missing certain tournaments. I want to live in a perfect world where the World Tour is, let's make big moves, then Glitch, then Genesis, then Frostbite, then I don't know, something MVP.
I don't have I'm gonna hit you with a hot take back. I actually don't have a positive look on the Smash World Tour.
Okay, let me hear it.
Because I feel like there were certain criteria that needed to be met in order to be part of the Smash World Tour that shouldn't have been there in order to be a legitimate Smash Brothers tournament. And a lot of it came down to something that we talked about earlier, was production and who they use for production.
Oh yeah, because it's VG running it, and so
right. And I feel like the issue is the reason why the Smash Brothers community has been so beautiful is because we've been able to make independent decisions on our own on who we use for production, where we have our venue, and what we do for our prize pots. And when you eliminate one of those three things, I feel like you lose your grassroots feel, and I feel like I know some of these tournaments were not included because of what they chose, who they chose and the amount they chose to put into their
Sure.
event. And I don't agree with that necessarily. I saw that, and I thought I saw the tournaments that weren't in it, and I thought this was a problem. Because
I'm with you. I'm with you. I very much look at this like how, Thanos showed up and like destroyed the Avengers because they were not together. They were separate for a whole movie, and that's how he was able to win. And that's how I kind of look at Nintendo right now. I mean, last year we would have had. I'm gonna address the tournaments. Okay, so last year we would have had 3 circuits. Okay, Smash World Tour, the Summit qualifiers. They had their events that they partnered with, and then of course Summit, BTS. They also just stream events as well, like the Stream Genesis, the Stream Big House, which already right there is a conflict of interest. Those tournaments obviously are not going to be on the World Tour because of that. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a shot. That's just business, okay? That's just whatever. And then I know Thunder wanted to do one as well. They were kind of in talks with Super Smash Con and a few other tournaments, but of course, Thunder blew up, and they weren't able to do whatever it is that they wanted to do. But I'm with you almost halfway on the criteria thing. So I feel like having criteria on the circuit, forces obviously organizers to step it up a little bit more. Obviously, we can't just have any old tournament, on here and say that it should demand points. But we also can't have the criteria set so high that even some of the tournaments that are on here that haven't been around for a while, like Royal Flush. I know, like I'm a firm believer Royal Flush probably wouldn't have had, met the certain criteria. I mean, that tournament hadn't been here forever, and then they brought Apex back.
Yeah, but Mango won a Royal Flush, bro.
Yeah, hey, I'm a Mango stan, so I love Royal Flush, but so I think our biggest issue is that we have historically been separate, not just separating ourselves from Nintendo or from fighting games. Like, it's in our DNA to, hey, this is us over here, this is us over. Hey, this is Melee, this is Brawl. Hey, this is Melee, this is Smash 4. This is Melee, this is Ultimate. And when I look at the World Tour, I've heard the rumors about the meetings that happened. Like, yeah, did you hear about those TOs? They had a meeting about a potential tour, a potential circuit. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But if every tournament that needs to be on that circuit is not on that circuit, there's going to be a problem, okay?
Yeah.
And there were some great tournaments on there, of course, but we're also missing. Genesis was not on there. The Big House was not on there. There's a lot of tournaments missing. And I feel like when Nintendo sees that, and they're like, well, Big House is by themselves. We can put a cease and desist on this. Had they been on the circuit, now imagine if they put a cease and desist on something on the circuit and all the tournaments were there.
They could have easily. They could have.
Oh, that's my hot take that I'm going to throw into the ring here. As soon as I saw the announcement for the Smash World Tour, I was like, it's dead in the water.
Yep.
It's never gonna. It's never gonna. First event a week out, the entire thing is going to get a cease and desist. Even if just based on the name of it itself. We're talking copyright here. We're not even talking about you're using our IP to play the game. We're just to completely shut the whole thing down. Thankfully, they didn't take immediate action. And, maybe if we were to go real deep, maybe Nintendo is behind this whole COVID thing. Maybe they're the ones. This is their way that they shut this all down. I'm just saying, you should have wiped down your Switch with rubbing alcohol before you started playing with it. But to go back to a more sane stance, I thought Smash World Tour, I'm like, this is amazing. It's never going to happen.
Well, and you're right. I think Nintendo did see that. We all know who JC Face is. Okay, we know him from Nintendo Treehouse. Wonderful guy. Gets an HQ badge at every Smash tournament. Why? I don't fucking know. He can go anywhere he wants, whatever. He's a great dude though. But I think we just showed Nintendo just a little bit too much love with these events, and I'm looking at I'm looking at the Smash World Tour announcement. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. This Twitter account's getting followers. They're making retweets, and I see this tweet from JC, and he tweets facepalm emoji. Like, he tweets it like in an uncomfortable amount of time after the Smash World Tour announcement goes up. But then here's the kicker, though. As people started responding to his tweet, he deleted it. So this lets me know that, okay, they are very aware, and he knew something that, either this is not going to work, or I wish we wouldn't have done this because we've been working on this thing or whatever. And I don't want anybody to think that the Nintendo Online Open events or whatever we did at PAX was a precursor of something to come, okay? This is a company. They have a new game out. They're going to host events. Okay, I never thought that anything Nintendo did for Ultimate was a precursor of a circuit. But when I seen that tweet that JC made, that really made me feel like something, like he knows something that we did not, and he deleted the tweet. Luckily, I was able to catch it on Google. I was like, I'm going to screenshot it here because I missed it on Twitter, but I was like, yo, this is not okay. Like, JC, talk to us. What are we not doing right? What are we missing? Like, did we partner with the wrong people? Can we not put Smash in the name? Tell us something, man. Tell us something.
I think what the issue was is the same issue that we're having now. Is we use the IP likeness in order to gain sponsorship and money without the approval of the IP owner. And this is the issue with the World Tour. I think what the main focus needed to be here was all of our tournaments and all of our TOs working together, whether we call it the Smash Tour or not. I don't think it needed to be called the Smash Tour in order to be what it was. I feel like that was the big mistake. But that when I saw that was not hit with a cease and desist immediately, I was like, okay, something weird's going on here. Is this a tell that they're actually working on something? Are they working with us? And then they hit us with a cease and desist later. It's like, okay, well, now what are you doing? Like, you don't.
And it was sponsored by tournaments that they've told that they don't want to work with. I mean, even according to the Twitlonger, they told Twitch, yeah, we'll do something back in 2016. But then according to Sakurai said, we've been working on Ultimate since 2016. So this leads me to believe that they never had any intentions of ever actually doing anything with us at Twitch or YouTube or whatever. They just wanted to string us along. It's called I call this the 50 Cent treatment. What I mean by this is in hip hop, so 50 Cent would reach out to artists that he felt threatened by. He would reach out to artists he felt threatened by, and he would tell them, hey, don't sign with Atlantic Records. Don't sign with LA Reid Records. Don't sign with Def Jam. I'll sign you. Don't put out any music. Just wait. I'll sign it. And he'll just disappear on these people for months. And these people would just not do anything for months and ruin their career. And then they'll reach out to 50 Cent. He'll be like, yeah, what have you done in the last 6 months to a year? And they're like, well, nothing. You told me not to do anything. You told me to leave this alone. Oh, yeah. Well, since you haven't put any music out, can't really work with you. And that's kind of what they did to these companies. They were like, hey, don't do anything with our IPs. We'll let you know when it's good to go, with no intentions of ever actually giving them the go on when to work or when to do anything. It's like, I don't understand why we give Nintendo so much respect. I mean, out from a business standpoint, sure, this is their IPs, but even like as these people walk around these events, I bumped into Bill Trennan and all these guys at EVO, and I'm just like, what are y'all doing here? Like, who and why do you have this type of power? You didn't give EVO any money. You didn't do anything for anybody here. You're just here. Are you interviewing people, or are you just walking around being people? Like, I mean, I love them to death. Like, they're childhood heroes of mine. But when I think about what the community needs competitively, I'm like, if you're not aiding the community, why the fuck do you have an HQ badge? Why?
Yeah,
this doesn't make
I think this is something that we can facilitate ourselves. I feel like I feel okay. So I grew up in the Halo community. The issue with the Halo community is that we were spoon-fed for a very, very long time. We were handed tournaments and we were handed a circuit, and once that was taken away from us, we didn't know what to do.
Right.
With Smash, I feel like it's the opposite. We built ourselves up. We worked ourselves up to the point where we felt like we deserved this.
There is a very I agree.
We feel like we deserved support. We felt like we deserved the support. And then once we thought we were going to get it and then didn't get it, and then all of these things came to light, all of these things, whether you're a community member or a player, all of these things came to light that kind of put us in the mud. As a PR person, if I was a PR person for Nintendo, I would be screaming for two reasons. Why are we shutting this thing down because everyone hates us? And why aren't we shutting this thing down because we're making mistakes in our own community? And this is a little bit of a segment, and we're gonna do another hard transition. Is our last topic of the night is the lifestyle of working in this industry and how you should handle yourself and how you should present yourself, whether you're a community member, you're a player, or just a personality in the space. I feel like there has been a lot of misrepresentation from very few of us, but it's been very loud enough to where that's all that people are hearing.
Sure.
And I feel like, all right, the lifestyle, it's a difficult one because you as a player or as a personality, you need to be able to manage yourself in a business manner.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've mentioned before, we go out to the after parties, we drink a little bit, we have a lot of fun, but we don't do stupid stuff. Like
No, we don't.
we're out on the dance floor, we manage ourselves well. I put my hand over my drink because I know at any time someone's not looking out for me. You know, you got to look out for yourself. And there was a lot of issues with this, particularly at the after party. But now we have all these things coming to light where people are doing stuff in the background. And Mike and I talked about this a few weeks ago.
Sure.
With the old MLG way back in the day, you could easily make a documentary of all of the crazy... Bro, I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I was in places where I should never have been.
Sure.
And I was just hanging out with people that I was there to play games with.
Well,
there's a documentary called Frag that came out it was like 2008, 2009, that at the time was slightly controversial because it actually showed a large portion of the film focused on the fact that these are young kids that are out and they're traveling for these events and they're winning money and they're partying and they're getting in trouble. And there's a big portion of that. And I think part of the interesting thing too, that maybe not a lot of myself, I haven't even thought about it until I like connected all the dots right now. Think about the Smash Brothers documentary. As huge as that was for helping growing the scene and bring light and new blood and players and spotlight, there was a lot of debaucherous stuff within that movie. Yeah, exactly. You don't think anybody from Nintendo, they didn't watch that? You think they just, I'm not going to watch it because it's, it's Smash Brothers related.
Well,
there's a lot of
crazy shit comes out in this next one. I hope some
crazy
shit leaks in this next one. Like, okay.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer that, if you let anybody talk long enough, they'll tell on themselves. And I think, we did that unknowingly, but it was also a precursor of something that was to come. Now, of course, looking back a few months ago, the majority of the BS that happened in the community, of course, happened in the Ultimate community, but I don't want anybody to think that this was just Ultimate. Keep in mind that Ultimate is a third chapter in a trilogy. It goes Brawl, Smash 4, and Ultimate. A lot of these players are the same people from 10 years ago. Melee had their time, okay? All of our favorite Melee players have been called out for BS, whether it's true or not. It just kind of happened sporadically. Ours just so happened to happen, boom, right when it did. So, and I'm happy that it all got. I don't want, this to come off as like I wish, these I hate saying the word victims, survivors did not come out and say what they did. I'm happy that they found the comfortability and the strength by being at home and away from these said people to come out and say what they did. But I think this kind of goes back into what we all talked about, the self-governing. Nintendo has never stepped in, so we were allowed to kind of self-govern ourselves. We weren't, is there a ceiling on how big this can become, how big a person can become, how much power we have? In other esports, it's grassroots at a certain level, like I mentioned, and then a company comes in and they say, hey, we got it from here. We are in charge of personalities. We're in charge of what players get invited out. These tournaments are the ones partnered. We'll tell you what's important. But we've always told ourselves what's important in Smash. We're able to, hey, this is the next big person. Hey, this is the next top player. Hey, this is that. And we've allowed a community to operate like that for so long. It almost makes sense on like why, Nintendo can't come in and do whatever it is they want. Like, dude, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I'm Mango. I don't care what Ultimate is. I'm fucking Mango, okay? Like, let's start there, okay? I got Mango stands that will get on Twitter and hurt you. So, when I see everything that has happened, it makes sense that, Nintendo has kind of backed off the way they have. And it's really, it puts a lot into perspective for me as somebody who has worked behind the scenes as a commentator. Because when people were getting called out and canceled and just everything like that, it was really... It's like watching the world end, but from the comfort of your bedroom. Like, who's next? My anxiety is up here. And as somebody who has spent 5 years of their life around these people, granted, I'm probably, closer to like EE and, like TK and some of those guys. I wasn't as close with like, the K Taros and all those people who are no longer with us. Of course, on commentary, it comes off differently because, we are putting on a show and making it seem like we're a lot closer than what we actually are. I mean, yes, we've shared hotel rooms and stuff, but that's because as commentators, there's only so many of us. I've gotten to know these people, but we weren't BFF besties forever. But, when you have lived like that, because I've only been in the community for 6 years. These people have been doing this for well over a decade. You're getting flown out. Like, you're being flown out everywhere in the world. your algorithm on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch, your impressions are nuts. Okay, you're signing autographs, you're eating good food, you're making a fuck ton of money. I mean, you're making so much money. The Summer Smash, I mean, you can make easily, I'm just spitballing. You could probably make like 10,000 in probably 6-7 months, if you budget yourself and do what you're supposed to do properly. I mean, you're living like fucking Freddie Mercury, okay? You're living like Mick Jagger, okay? And I was like, guys, I'm actually surprised this didn't happen earlier.
Yeah,
now,
no shit.
I'm not calling out, I don't know specifically who's done what. I'm just taking into consideration the lifestyle, okay? Like I'm a person who stays booked and busy. Like I'll be in Australia one weekend and I'll be in Canada the next, whatever. But I don't let that type of mindset get like, oh yeah, I'm on top of the world. Like, baby girl, I'm only here one night, so you might as well come share a room with me because you don't know how long I'm gonna be. Like, it's never that. You know what I mean? It's what it is for me is, hey, Mike and Alex, I don't get to see these guys very often. Let me go say hi. Or, hey, are we going to the after party? Let's grab a drink. Oh, we can't do it here at CEO. I tell you what, I'll see you in 20 days at Evo. We'll get it right at Evo. Like, it should be that. But when you are top 8 guys, top 32 guys, pocket full of money for the weekend. I mean, some of these guys get paid before everybody else. You got a pocket full of cash and you're being flown out first class. I mean, you're doing your thing.
You're getting paid twice almost. You're
getting paid twice. I mean, it almost makes sense that this has happened. Like, they don't have managers. They don't have, PR. They are handling themselves. I'm like, hey, I mean, I'm sad that all this has happened. But honestly, these call outs maybe should have happened months sooner. I don't know.
I agree. Do you feel like, okay, this is from a business perspective, like if I were to manage some of these players, do you think as an organization, do you think you should be looking to have a player manager and a PR manager to really look after some of these players? Because a lot of these players, I don't feel like are aware, this is any esport, are aware how to handle themselves on social media, because a lot of them get in the game so young, they haven't really had that experience to learn how to communicate in a business way or even handle themselves in a public situation. I mean, you have some of these players that were popular from when they were 16, now they're 21, and and may or may not have alcohol been involved this whole time, get something stupid. Maybe as an org, you have a representative being like, yo, you can't be messing up tonight. Like, you gotta put a little bit more weight on these players to really perform. You're working a job, man. You're not just showing up and playing. You're representing a company at this point. You're repping like imagine being a player from Liquid, making this mistake, and now everybody hates Liquid. Like, Team Liquid, one of the most profitable esports companies. As an owner, you would be like, what is going on here? Why is this player not being handled in the correct way? I feel like a lot of these mistakes, don't get me wrong, these players should know better, especially because a lot of these players and some of these personalities in the game had made these mistakes later on in their career. It's not like this was an early adopt of their career.
Absolutely not.
I feel like there could be a little bit more knowledge out there as a player and as a personality on how to handle yourself and how to really make sure you keep yourself and the people around you safe. I feel safe when I go and hang out with you guys because I know we know how to handle ourselves.
Absolutely. And yeah, I agree. As much as we might look plastered in our dancing at HyperX Esports Arena, trust me, we have only ever had really 2 drinks. Like, we handle ourselves very well, but that's because we can find the fun without the alcohol. But I've always felt like, now I'm a teacher back at home, or at least I was before the world went to hell. I work with children, and when I go to these events and I show up to some of these hotel parties and stuff, and I'm like, when I go to cons, okay, when I go to conventions, there's badges, okay. Depending on how old you are, you get a different type of badge. Some of the hotel rooms don't allow you in without a certain, colored badge, whatever. And I always thought, I mean, yeah, these are very top professional players. Like, they're very young, but we need to make sure that these motherfuckers aren't drinking. And if they are, make sure, hey, I didn't give him that, or I didn't give her that. Like, she got that from somewhere else. Or, hey, sometimes you just need to step in and say, you need to put that drink down. Like, if nobody else is going to say it, I'm going to be the lame. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be like, you need to put that away. We're not doing that here. Okay. Like, if something could happen to you, that's just something you don't need. Smash community culturally does not need that. You need to put it down. The fact that some of these players are around us at such a young age is very terrifying. It's very scary to think of. But I do think
there's a very weird culture that's been built up around it. I know that myself, like I remember going to like my first Major League Gaming event and then getting invited to the after party. I was in my mid-20s. And when I went to that after party, the amount of like debauchery that I saw, granted, like it was at a bar and they were IDing, but then like kind of like you were saying, like some of these other like high profile players or anybody that has kind of like this aura around them of being like a well-established personality or player, whatever it may be, they're being handed drinks, they're being pulled in different directions, people are wanting to hang out. It's weird to me that the after party in a lot of these events have become almost somewhat of like a secondary focus that's almost equal with the event itself. Oh, are you going to the after party? Oh, what are you doing after the event? And even things happen in the hotel rooms. Like there's a way to create safe spaces and ensure that everybody can enjoy themselves responsibly and blow off a little steam. But there's also this secondary culture that's been built in, especially with these official after parties. And you're seeing like Red Bull sponsored official after party. You're seeing the culture that's built up around a lot of these bigger major events. I don't think it's helped any at all.
It's not. I remember DreamHack Atlanta last year, and I'm commentating. I think it's either top 32 or top 8, but it's TK and I, and we're like the last people in commentary and production period. And they're doing the fucking after parties, the techno, and it's loud as fuck. And people in the Twitch are like, where the hell are you guys? Are you guys at a damn Skrillex concert comment? It's like, nah, this is we're having our dreams hacked right now. You wouldn't understand. We're just doing a thing, like, and it's the amount of people that were there. Like Alex, like, yo, come through. And I was like, Alex, I want to get there, but I'm commentating. I want to get there, and like, I love the party. I love partying, but I feel like the party should not be held with the same sort of importance as with the way that the events push them. The events are like, here's this and here's this and here's this. Now, we do live in a day and age where obviously people want that Walmart experience. They want that, hey, I need a TV, I need underwear, and I need eggs. All right, go to Walmart. Okay, I want to get the most bang for my buck. But it's actually funny that you guys bring this up, because I talked to Max Ketchum about this. I stayed with him in September for a month. I went out there to take a class, and we talked about what tournaments used to be versus what they are now and how the culture has changed. When I would show up to an old Brawl tournament or whatever, I'm expecting to get my ass beat, okay? I'm not worried about an after party. I'm not worried about the artist alley booth. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm here to play. And then after I lose, I'm going to watch my favorite players. I'm going to grind. I'm going to get as many friendlies in as possible. And I'm going to fly my ass home. But now there's too much, hey, I'm just in my hotel room drinking all weekend. I'm not actually in the tournament. Yeah, come up here. Yeah, are you done playing? Yeah, just come kick it with me for a little bit in between matches. There's too much. Yeah, I'm in the artist alley. I'm at the after party. I'm at this. Like, we need to get back to what we're here to do, playing games safely. And then from there, we can learn how to, regulate after parties, room parties, who's drinking, the right color badges. But the culture is so far off now. I mean, there's people that I bump into at Genesis who I didn't even bring a controller. I'm not here to play. But what the fuck are you here to do in Oakland, California? Well, I'm here to just drink all weekend.
Can I play devil's advocate for just a second?
Yeah.
I feel like the difference now and difference then was everybody that showed up was a player. Everybody that showed up was a player.
Yeah.
And now everybody that shows up is not a player. There's a lot of spectators. I will go to a tournament just to watch.
Sure.
Because I know I am hot garbo at Melee. I will go 0-2. I don't even sign up for the bracket. I go, I put myself in a hotel, I'll pay spectator fee, and I'll watch the matches. And I'm there to hang out with my friends. So my devil's advocate argument is, okay, well, I'm coming with a group of people. Let's say Evo. Before I started working events, I would rent out an Airbnb. We would get 10 people together. We would go to Evo. There would be players there, and there would be spectators there. And we would go. We would have a good time. I think the difference now is that the esports has become so popular. You now have general public there, so it's not just the players anymore. I feel like I used to go when I used to go to Halo tournaments. I was the player, and I was the person that was there to learn. I was the person to get my ass beat, and I was there to improve and to play the game and to be there as a player. But as I got older, when I got into other games, I was there as a general public person. I was there just to watch. I feel like there's a misconception right now of people that are there to play and really get better, and they're people to being there just to watch. And I feel like those communities are starting to mix, and I feel like that's where a lot of these issues are coming in, is a lot of these people that should be focused on getting better and playing, and people that are partying and they're not winning tournaments and they're not getting any better and they're not placing any higher from one tournament to the next, they're now mingling with these general public people like me and you. I'm like, hey man, come party. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to hang out with my friends, and like I really try not to pressure the people that are working the event, because I know you're working really, really hard. Like, I know you're really hard, and then I'm like, hey man, if I see you, I'll see you. If you want to get dinner, if you want to get a drink later, let's do it. If you're working, that's cool. Like you said, I'll see you the next event. But that's a luxury that we have. I feel like there's a lot of pressure where, like, this is the one major I get to go to a year. I'm general public, and I happen to be friends with some of these people. Let's go out and party tonight, because this is the only time I'm going to see you this year.
I agree. And they're using alcohol as a way to, I'm just spitballing names. I don't know. Noob Slayer 69. Like, man, Noob Slayer, he's fucking badass. He just kicks ass. The only way I'm going to really get his attention to do anything with me or to kick it or whatever is alcohol. And it's like, now there's that added layer of distraction where if you weren't there, that said player would have just whatever the whole week. And that's why I really love, and that's why I really miss Etika, because Etika will show up to Evo and he wouldn't do anything until Saturday night. Like, I mean, he would have his Discord and his people with him. But when it came to players, like, nobody's there until, like, we are done. Like, Saturday night, like, you got destroyed, you didn't make it to top 8, or this is Sunday night, you know, whatever, you don't feel like watching in the stands. Like, that's when it's cool to kick it. And I think that could generally be because, you know, Etika obviously comes from the Smash community as well. He's been to a handful of tournaments, so he probably knows how a lot of these players get down. But like you said, you know, the new culture is, well, I'm not really here to play, I'm here to party. And now we've kind of reverted into like this college culture where we're just kind of, there's this happening over here, but hey, when you get done, come fucking, you know, lose your mind. We're going to take tequila shots for 12 hours straight. And then you're going to get, you got pulls tomorrow. Sorry, man. You got plastered, you know, like there's just there's too many outside influences. There's too many people who are not there for the competitive spirit, who are there just to party.
I think the traditional sports culture is starting to leak in. I think you're starting to get fans, purely fans. That's it. And they're starting to leak in.
Yep.
And like, as someone that works, and Mike, you know this because we've worked together, and Rodney, you know this. Like, there's 2 nights that's reasonable to go out if you're working an event. It's arguably Saturday night, but I don't even really like Saturday night because I know I got to start tearing down events the next day. But it's always Sunday night. Once I get the truck pack, once I get everything done, I am now off the clock. It is different. But I think there's a difference. Even though I'm off the clock, I know I am there representing our community in some way. And even though I will definitely have drinks, I will have drinks. I won't have 1 or 2. I know I will have multiple drinks that night. But I am conscious enough, and I keep myself that way, to know that I'm still representing our community in some way. And I know, like, I mean, Rodney, you've seen me. I just get, I get dance. I just like to dance. I like to give everyone high fives. I like to buy you a drink, and then that's my role as a community member that night. It doesn't go any. I think people are too used to trying to be something in this community, and they're trying to go this extra mile and trying to do more than what they need to do when the tournament's already over and they're making mistakes. I feel like
I agree.
I feel like they're losing the mentality of representing your community, and they're losing the mentality. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have any problem with these fans going out and partying. I don't have any problem with even some of these players. Even though they make top 8 on Saturday night, they're going to go out and still have drinks. And they'll probably still perform okay on Sunday. Like, I don't have a problem with that. It's when you misrepresent the community, that's what I have a problem with. And I feel like that is a lack of self-control that goes beyond just the community you're in. I think that is a personal issue that you're letting affect the community. I feel like that's where the real problem is.
Yeah. I mean, there's just too many people who want to. I mean, everybody wants to be somebody, you know, regardless if they admit to it or not. I feel like there's a lot of that in esports. There's a lot of, yeah, you know, Mango's here. I can maybe get Mango to kick with me if we just drink and just get plastered. Like, well, Mango's going to be Mango. Okay, so he may have that drink.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance he will, but there's also a good chance he would not. But I'm like, what is your sole purpose for being here? Like, do you have any real people skills to get to know these players outside of like partying and weird shit? Like, where's the real connection here?
Yep.
Like, you know, I went to CEO 2018. Okay, that happened to be on my birthday that year. I think I turned 25, so I got completely shit-faced. I mean, I hadn't been that drunk since I turned 21. Like, they had to, you know, Jeepers Creepers me out of there, you know, up on the, you know, the shit out of there. Yeah, I had to get drug out of there. Like, it was bad, you know, but I was like, you know what? Hey, I only turned 25 once. But I realized, though, looking back on that, I worked hard that weekend. Like, This was not I didn't do anything, and I was just like, hey, I'm just in the front row. Hey, Rod, I'm a big fan. You want to grab a drink real quick? Like, hey, we don't have to have a drink, but we can definitely have a conversation. Like, at Genesis last year, I got sick. Okay, I'm going to preface, I got sick, but I ended up getting sick because I was sharing just nonstop drinks with people. Like, people passing around Tennessee whiskey, honey whiskey. I'm like, okay, there are people who like me here and I'm drinking too much, but I'm like, I've given these people too much access to me. I'm glad that they want to drink. I'm like, I need real connection, because without this, it's thankfully enough, it's Saturday night. Okay, like, I don't have to do anything till 7 p.m. the next day. But what if I had to do something at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or noon? I wouldn't be able to get out of bed, and like, you have to monitor yourself. You have to monitor the people around you. And we've allowed the fans, and this sounds blamey. I don't want to blame anybody. I don't want to blame anybody for being a fan. But when you are a fan, just know that these people are here to do a job. The reason you fell in love with these people is the exact same reason why they're in your face right now. You're meeting them at Evo for the first time, or Pokemon for the first time. Okay, they're here to do what you've seen them do 3 weeks ago on Twitch again. So don't impair their judgment. Okay, don't offer them alcohol. Don't offer them weed and any sort of weird stuff. And if you know they're young, definitely don't offer them a damn thing. Stop being weird. Stop doing that. Yep. Like, I don't know, man. It should go without saying, but you know.
Well, these players got to be more responsible too. I mean, it's a two-way conversation. You know, if you offer something to me and I'm not comfortable with it, I'm going to tell you no. And definitely. I feel like the comfortability needs to be at a way higher awareness level with some of these players and some of these personalities. They just need to say no, man. Like, they got to no. I feel like there's a lot of pressure, obviously, to keep everybody happy and to keep everybody a fan of what you're doing. But, man, dude, you got to let someone down every now and then. Like, if I can say no sometimes, I know anybody can say no sometimes to a drink, you know? Like, I'm always down to go out, have a couple beers. Like, if there's a beer cart, DreamHack's notorious for this, man. They'll have a random local beer cart, and you know what? Mike's seen it. I'll be midday. I'll just have 2 beers in my hand. But do you know what I do at the end of the day? I sweat all that beer out because I'm working hard. Because I know at the end of the day, I got a job to do. And, you know, I don't know who's in the background, some random no-name DJ, London on the track, Atlanta.
That's true, that's right. Block
1, 2, 3, bow, bow.
Bow, bow.
But I'll tear down the event. I swear I'll tear down the event, and I'll do it on time, every time. Yeah, but right. I think what it is, I think it's a mix. The fans got to be like, hey, this guy's working. But that's also these players and these personalities to be like, hey, I'm working. I feel it's a two-way conversation that's not happening right now. I feel like it's very one-way, and the fans are in the favorable part of the conversation. They're in the driver's seat right now.
And I think that's where PR needs to be stepped in. I see like Hungry Box has guys around him and Mango. I say, look, every sponsored player needs help. I've even I come down from the hotel room, just even at Genesis. I'm coming down, and the convention center is literally right there. And I'm walking through, and the amount of people, like, I have 10 minutes before my block, 15 minutes. Again, like I said, to make sure production doesn't freak out. And there's people, hey, Rob, real quick, can you sign my 3DS? Or can we get a picture? Can we do this? Or, hey, can I wear your beads for a second? You know, I just want to see what they're all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, but also, I got to let you know that this is a conversation we can't continue. But you're seeing, if I'm walking fast and you know what I do and you know why I'm here to do that thing. So my time right now is limited, but we can have a follow-up conversation.
Yep.
I'm not saying that you got to get out of my face, or I very much love the conversation. I love to talk to people. But and that could just be my inner PR, but a lot of these players don't have that.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it's because they're not naturally personalities, or they don't have to naturally like
Yeah, I think that's what
learn
it
how to
is.
talk and deal with people for a living. Like it's the skill that keeps the people around
Yep.
them. But you know, you got to learn how to say, you got to learn how to delegate your time. Like, hey, man, I got a pools match to do. Yes, I am whoever, but I can't be late for this. Or hey, I can't drink tonight. Tomorrow I can drink. Right now, I want to make sure I keep a clear mind so I can, you know, fucking shine people to death. Like it's hard to do that when I'm impaired. So just, you know, work with me a little bit here. And I think, you know, fans sometimes they don't get that. And then again, I don't want to blame the fans, because a lot of it comes down to the players as well. But you know, if I see Mango, if I was a Mango fan, I mean, and I am, and I knew that he had to play, as much as I know he likes to drink, I'm not going to offer him a drink until I know he's out of the bracket. And that's just the respect factor in me. And
Or unless he tells you to get you a drink, you know.
Yeah, no, unless he says like, "Hey, I need a fucking beer," I'm like, "I got a beer right here, dude. I got you."
I've owed him a drink before, and he's pointed me out. He's like, "Hey, you got that for me?" I'm like, "All right, dude. Whatever you say."
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's different.
but I feel like that Mango's definitely had his run-ins, but especially in these last recent years, something that we're going to talk about in these metagame years, he's handled himself pretty well, and he's had people around himself to handle himself, even though he will have a couple of drinks during the weekend. He definitely keeps himself at a functionable level. And obviously it's always been a meme. I feel like, and I think it's because of the Smash doc, because of the brute honesty that the Smash doc had. It put a lot of this weight on some of these personalities to have the certain persona, but he's handled it very, very well. We actually just had a question in the chat specifically for you, Rodney. Is it super weird to have people or fans come up to you? I feel like that would be a lot of anxiety for them.
No, actually. I love it. And not because, like, again, we talked about the culture that, you know, being I guess a personality brings, like being famous or whatever. I'm not in it for the, you must want me to sign something. Like, I get a lot of these players. Tournaments are supposed to be safe spaces. So like the things that you dread away from these tournaments, just let it all go when you're at Genesis. Let it all go at Big House. Like, everybody's here and we got each other's back. So, you know, I don't want anybody to feel like, man, I gotta build up this confidence. I gotta go out to ride. I gotta say hi with confidence. Like, no, it's not like that. You know, if you're nervous or whatever, like, we can take the conversation slowly. Or, you know, if you just want to say hi and bye real quick, we can do that. If you want a picture, like, I'm just here for the human interaction.
Be you.
As much as I love commentary, just to be me. As much as I love commentary, and as much as I love playing Smash, a good chunk of my life wasn't around video games. I'm a millennial, man. Like, I got baby photos that, you know, don't exist on cell phones, but I also can program you a damn computer too. Like, I feel like, you know, we're day walkers. You know, we're the best of both worlds. Like, I love human interaction. So, you know, if I always tell people, you see me at a tournament, come talk to me. Like, we can chit chat for as long as we can, or hell, we can get games. If you're old enough, we can grab a drink. You can do anything. I've even said hi to some players' dads and moms, like Puppe. I met his dad. I met Wadi's mom. I've met parents. I've met small children. Like, anybody. I don't care. Like, come talk to me. It's never a weird thing for me, and I try to make sure that it's not weird for the person I'm talking to as well.
I feel like that's how you and I started interacting. We just saw each other often enough. We're like, hey, you're here. You care about this. You're not crazy. Like,
that's a big one. You're not crazy.
Like, you're a normal person. Like, be yourself. Just like, I'm not saying that, because everyone has their own definition of normal, you know. Like, be yourself, be genuine, and like that light will shine through, and someone will be captivated by that light, and someone will reach out to you back. Like, they will. People care about you, you know. Like, we're all part of the same community. Like, just say hi in the way you want to say hi, and we'll be cool with that. Like, we'll be cool with that. We'll say hi the way we say hi.
That's right.
You know, no matter where. Like, I'm a pretty honest person. I'll tell you how it is. Like, right out the gate, be like, hey, I like you, or hey, like, what's up, and I'll be gone. Like, I'll fade away. Like, if I like you, I'll stick around. I'll force you to like me.
There's a difference of mentalities there too. You know, obviously, like, my mentality while I'm working the event, you know, you're there running logistics, you're there behind the scenes, you know, you're not necessarily like, you know, full-fledged into what is happening. And sometimes you have like lulls in it. I will personally, for me, I will go out of my way if I see what I assume is like a parent. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone that's sitting there looking bored and they're on their phone. A lot of times playing solitaire. Funny enough, I catch so many people playing solitaire at different esports events. I literally could I could start at a whole separate Twitter and just post photos of people playing solitaire esports events, or like reading a book. Like if with outside of like the standard age range, I would say, I've talked to a lot of parents, and having someone approach them at one of these events, they don't know what they're getting into, and they're bringing their kid. They're like, oh yeah, they see it online and they do the Twitch stuff. And they, the parent, by engaging and treating their child to come out to an event like this, they're looking kind of for that avenue of like, okay, this is something they're interested in. Is it something they should continue doing? So speaking with younger attendees, making sure that they're comfortable and kind of like understand, oh yeah, you want to talk to, you want to meet Rodney? Rodney's right there. I'll introduce you. Like, that interaction goes a long way. Yep. And even with adults, like explaining to them like, oh yeah, well, I got into it by running video game events in my high school cafeteria, and this is the work that I do, and this, this is kind of the legwork of what goes into these events. Like something like that. There's definitely like starstruck people out there that are like, they're going because they want to see those players. They're going because they want to get that experience of being in the crowd and cheering. And there's people that are just there like, oh, this looked cool. I saw it on Facebook. I figured I would just come down and check it out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, that openness, I mean, I open myself up to people at events. A lot of my interactions have been positive. I've had a couple like negative ones, but I'm like, hell, everybody feels a way about you, but as long as they feel something, that's a good starting point. I mean, I remember once, I think at the last DreamHack Atlanta, a kid came up to me and I can't remember what the hell he said, like word for word, but DreamHack Atlanta had a shit ton of fighting game players. Like, let's start off with that. Like, it was a crowd of people. Yeah, he came up to me and he's like sifting through the crowd, and I'm kind of standing there, and he's like, hey, Rod. And I'm like, what's up? And you can tell he probably had like his Discord open or something. Like, he's probably his boys put him up to him. He was like, how does it feel to have the worst commentary ever? And I was like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, how does it feel? I'm like, okay. I said, we should start over. I was like, let's start over. And he was just like, nah, man, I'm just joking, man, blah, blah. I said, nah, man. I was like, somebody put you up to it or whatever. I was like, it's fine, but I guess, man, like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I can't make everybody like me. And, I'll be somewhere else next weekend doing the same shit you hate. So I don't know what to tell you, man. So
dang.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm at least you felt something. I mean, I would hate it, if you fell asleep on my commentary, I'd be a little more upset. So at least, you got the courage.
You're intrigued by someone. Yeah. My favorite interaction, Rodney, I think you remember this. We have a similar friend in the commentary space. Mm-hmm. And there was an interaction, I think it was the same event of the opposite sex. And they just got ripped aside.
Okay.
Do you remember this at all? We were walking down the aisle. It was you and our friend. They got ripped aside, and it was just like the most awkward moment. It was way too embracive, way too like.
Is that DreamHack?
Yeah, this is a DreamHack event.
Like at an after party or something?
No, this was during the event. We were just like walking down the aisle of like. You guys were going to your commentary block. You guys were on the last commentary block, super late commentary block.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, our friend got pulled aside, and it was just like, it was a super like disingenuous moment where I feel like it was one of the few times where I witnessed it, where it was like they got pulled into a conversation, and I feel like they didn't really know how to get out of it, and I feel like. That's a very hard moment to be in, and I've definitely been in one of those, especially with like other staff members when they need something from a fellow worker. They kind of pull you aside and they just kind of hold you there for a little bit too long. I think knowing how to get out of a conversation is just as important as knowing how to be in a conversation or how to get into a conversation.
Sure.
Because you kind of need to defend yourself in those situations, like kind of like how you did. You had someone come up to you and just kind of trolling you a little bit, and you're like, "All right, wait a minute," and then they're like, "Ooh, okay," they kind of backed off immediately but you know how to get out of that conversation.
Yeah, straight up.
I being the event lifestyle is just something that it will nothing will ever prepare you for it, man.
No. Not at all. I got stuck in the whirlwind of it. Like I went from mega buses to planes in like a month, and I was like, "Oh, so we do this all the time?" They're like, I mean, it was very much like how it was
20,
like a movie.
20 times a year, yeah.
Yeah, and like it was like, "Hey, you're with the big leagues now, Rod. Trust us, we got you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And like, I'm on a flight up 8 a.m. You know, stomach full of coffee. I'm wide awake. My boys are, I mean, slumped from the after. I mean, just tongue out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just a tranquilized dog, like tongue just out. You know, I'm like, wow. Like, this is what we do every weekend? They're like, yeah, this is what we do. I'm like, I said, I can't keep up with this. I said, now I can go to every tournament. I said, but I can't get shit faced every damn week, and I can't do that. That is not good. I can't do it. It's not good for my mental. It's not good, you know, for my inner workings. I mean, I don't run off of alcohol. I run off of, you know, juice and water and shit. You know, you just can't live like that forever.
Water, people, drink your water.
Yes, sir.
Throughout the weekend, because it powers your brain, and when your brain is powered, you think about the game at a higher level. Yep. And Mike, we're gonna get into our upcoming event, and I have a feeling I know what Mike's upcoming event is. And it does involve a higher brain power. Am I on the right track here?
I think you are. I think you absolutely. Matter of fact, I think you dropped a couple of tips there. So this Friday is the debut of the new metagame documentary, which is the successor to the original Smash Brothers documentary. Same director, same production team.
Really?
It's going to be an 8-part miniseries, and they're premiering it on Twitch. So it starts at 2 p.m. Pacific this Friday. They're going to show the first 3 episodes on Friday, the middle 3 on Saturday, and the final 3 on Sunday. This is a live viewership opportunity, and the timing could not have been better.
Perfect.
This follow-up documentary series literally announced in the late 2010s. 2018, no, 2000. I'm going to say 2016 is when it was really being worked on. There was a Kickstarter. There's been a ton of production updates. It's finally finished and coming to fruition, and the timing could not have been better. If the Smash Brothers documentary, after Nintendo sent the cease and desist for EVO 2013, if that helped the community, who knows what this is going to do? It could hurt, like we said before. There could be stuff in this now that's like, ooh, that doesn't help.
I'm gonna be in the back. I'm gonna be in the background shaking my ass, dude. Poison.
I think documentaries are a great thing, and especially for a grassroots community, it kind of has this. It doesn't cost you anything to be a part of this type of thing. Like there is no esports, there is no team that you need to be a part of. It's just buy a ticket, buy a plane ticket, show up, and now you're in the community. Like it's like very, very simple.
Be friendly.
I'm very sad that we don't get a. You know, I play Ultimate. Of course, I always play the new game. I love Melee, but I like the new game because I like. You know, I always tell people I love Brawl a little bit more than Melee because I'm in love with characters as opposed to what it was competitively. So like I'm like, oh, Pokemon Trainer's 3-1, and Samus can split now, and you know, Olimar, you know, Snake, like these are very wonky characters, and I'm like, okay, I'm with this. But you know, when I heard the Brawl documentary was getting made, I was like, this is what Ultimate and Smash 4 specifically, they were like, how are these players so powerful coming into Smash 4? Let us show you why Brawl's meta, why Brawl's neutral was so heavily important to Smash 4 and 3DS and to Ultimate. The players that were at the top in Brawl are still at the top because of Brawl in Ultimate. But as we all know, document never came out. It's not. That guy is no longer with the community, so all the money that went into that GoFundMe is now gone too. So, rip. But at least we get a new Melee doc. If we got another Melee doc, I'm happy about that.
Don't downplay this, Rodney. I swear to God. I've been waiting for this for 6 years, man.
I mean, Project got a documentary for Brawl and Ultimate. So I'm just saying, man. Like, PM doc, like, what the hell? Like,
that would be a super
if I gotta
interesting.
Myself, damn it, I'll do it.
I mean, you're a fantastic writer. You should.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see one
you
day.
Need someone to hold the camera. Let me know, dude.
Okay.
Let us know, dude. You got 2 people. I know this guy right here will definitely hold a camera for you, bro. I've seen this man hold a camera for 12 hours straight.
Oh, holy shit.
All right, Mike. tell us where we can watch this metagame documentary. We have a couple people in the chat wondering.
Yeah, so that's going to be at their Twitch channel is twitch.tv/metagame. You can actually check out their website, www.metagamedoc.com. And they're also on Twitter as well. So like I said, they're premiering it live starting this Friday. They're going to show the first 3 episodes, and throughout the weekend, they're going to show everything. Obviously, those will be on VODs. And there was also, crazily enough, as the announcement that the premiere is happening live on Twitch, I'm really curious what viewership's going to be like. I really think there's going to be a huge push here from the community, especially giving Nintendo's response with Slippy and the cease and desist and everything that's been recently more happening. But there's also been some grassroots activity on social media trying to get this on Netflix. So pending this premiere on Twitch and how the community reacts to it, if the general population gets any kind of whiff on it, Netflix might actually give a little scope as to maybe putting this on their platform.
Interesting. I'm tuned in just for the sake of it. I love documentaries. I love, finding out. I was a social studies kid. I was the weird kid. I love history. I like finding out why things are the way they are. Like, why do I have the ability to even sit in this classroom? Like, somebody built this school, and then somebody funded the construction people. Then whoever that person was, he ended up, or she got the money. Like, I want the story. I want the lineage. I want the lore. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
I am super interested to see how the personalities that are highlighted in this film react. I cannot wait. I think there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes commentary behind some of these little viewing parties that we're going to be hosting. I'm interested to see if, for selfish reasons, if something that I've hosted has bled into it.
I'm ready. I'm already preparing myself. Like, I'm literally going to be watching it on a couch surrounded by pillows, because I know from the trailer there's footage from Apex 2015, the infamous event with the venue change and all the additional drama. Like, I'm ready.
I'm worried about the second GTX, dude. That's why I'm worried about the second GTX.
The second one wasn't in the arena. Where were you guys at for the
second? Oh, Rodney, do you not know about this? Okay.
Oh, I don't think so. What happened?
Okay, so, I mean, I'm not under any NDA or anything, so I can talk about this publicly.
Okay.
And then not really.
I like how he said that, like, accusatory. Like, am I under NDA?
No, I
under
purposefully did not sign anything because I knew something like this would happen.
Sure.
The first GTS 2 Monka S. Okay. The first GTX, believe it or not, had the backing and the profits to run it in the stadium for a second year.
Okay.
And a third year.
Oh.
Something was a bit mismanaged on the back end. I'm going to go ahead and completely clear myself and say I was the event coordinator. I just said, hey, this is what we should do. This is who we should have. This is where we should go with this event.
Sure.
Something happened on the back end, and this company was almost obligated to host 3 events. So by the time the second event rolled around, we could have done it in the same venue as the first event with the same prize pot. However, with the mismanagement of funds possibly going into different areas, we had to switch venues. So we switched venues across the street into a place that actually had more space. I went and toured it myself, and I actually had the facilities to be one of, if not even better than the stadium. There was going to be possibilities for food, music, kind of more of like a festival sort of thing.
Food.
Yeah, yeah, not the music. About a month before the event happened, someone in their infinite wisdom decided to switch venues. Not only switch venues to the gaming center, which we had held our monthlies and our regionals at. And those were things that I TO'd. We would get about 100 players on our regionals, and that's pretty good for Utah. That was that was just for Melee. So the money that was supposed to be going to this big venue, more money was spent into going to making this game center usable for the space. So the second one ended up just being our vendors were in an outdoor wedding vent in the parking lot with power ran out and heaters, and they dude, don't you get me started. I tell you, and our FGC community, which have been very supportive for our monthlies, they were in our old game center, which facilitated about 60 people at one time, and there was 4 tournaments in that facility. The production was fire, and the tournament ran on time, which was a blessing in disguise, and it had the most lit VIP room because me and a partner of mine made it so. We provided, Sir Rodney, we provided in that VIP room because we realized what of a shit show this tournament was. And this is actually the reason why I moved. This sparked my move to Seattle.
Okay.
Because right after this event, I was like, bro, I need to get out of here. And this sparked my move to working for Gaming Generations full time. But yeah, basically, the second GTX was going to be hosted in a hypothetical venue where the owner of GTX decided to switch venues about a month before the tournament and didn't refund and forced everyone to move hotels. And
can I say something about GTX?
I had to handle that, and it was hard. It was very, very hard.
So I know both of your work ethics. You both work very hard. So I would never place this blame on you. But I feel like GTX came at a very strange time in Smash, because if you remember just a year prior, Smash was getting, like, we're getting the esports recognition. Like, we're getting hit up by venues and companies that we have never heard of before that probably didn't do anything with Smash until us. And so, like, before GTX, there was UGC in December of 2016. The UGC venue. That
event was underrated.
Underrated. It should have had more attendees, but there's a lot of factors that went into it. The first one was, of course, we don't recognize any of the people hosting it. We're still very grassroots. Like, hey, if we don't see familiar names attached to this,
marketing.
I don't give a shit. We're not coming. Second of all, of course, was marketing. Third of all was Zero Saga popped up at the end of the month, and then remember there was Showdown Battle Royale in Detroit. That was just the next weekend, so there was a lot of events. There's just a lot going on, but I think what really hurt UGC was the unfamiliarity of the people running it. They didn't really, get to know people. They didn't come to events. That's how we get to know new TOs. They work with other TOs. Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, who are you? Oh, I run Shine. Okay, cool. I didn't recognize you. Got a Genesis shirt on. Oh yeah, I'm just helping out. But yeah, come to Shine too, blah, blah. Like, that's how we get to know people. But GTX kind of followed a very similar script, but also a little different too. Because I remember going to Combo Breaker and stuff and seeing, like, the dude with the GTX shirt on. He's doing the T-shirt and the blazer thing. Like, this is Combo Breaker and he has a blazer on. So I'm like, he's already out of water. I don't know what's going on here. Man. He's going up to people and he's shaking hands. Hey, I'm very excited for GTX and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking, like, this is not... I
was supposed to be the representative at that event.
I would have much preferred you than the person that was sent. And then, like, after GTX, there's the next one. And then, people are like, okay, they were doing Twitter videos and, like, these big announcements, and everything just seems to be kind of falling apart. Then shortly after, Thunder happens. We just have a history of, like, esports people coming in and then, like, mishandle or not putting the right people in charge. Like, I think somebody like yourself should have been able to spearhead GTX, but I know you weren't the dude calling the final shots. So I feel like that's why GTX is where it is today, because they did not hire my friend Alex to run the shit like how it was supposed to be ran,
So I will say I worked for them full time.
Okay.
But my advice was very sorely not taken.
Uh-oh.
To the point where someone came up to me and asked me, "What are you doing for this event?" And I was mad confused. But no, I did a lot of the groundwork marketing. The only reason why there was a lot of players and even personality there is because I was already going to these events, and I was like, hey, since I'm going to be at these events already, let me market it for you guys. And it was all on my dollar, and I was like, hey, we're gonna give you guys this money. We're gonna pay you guys to come here, show up at this event. It's gonna be a good event. We paid the players out Sunday night. Everybody got their checks, and like that was like my like if we're gonna do this, it needs to be done like this. The people need to get paid tonight. And the issue with the second GTX was there was a rumor that people weren't gonna get paid, and I was
that's right.
freaking out in the VIP room at a particular person that was trying to make that executive decision. But it's just, I think what the lesson is here is when you work for people or when you're doing a certain thing, you need to make sure that the intentions are clear and that they're right.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make sure that every promise that is being made needs to be executed on 100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
And I think
I
that's
always wanted to go to GTX. It looked like a fun event, and I'd always felt like, man, this is cool, but I just feel like the people who are in charge of this, because like I had met you a few times, but I had never met the people who are in charge. And I was like, this dude I met can't be the guy calling the shot. Like this dude I met was solid. Like, but how does this event? And now here we are, these years later, I'm finding out, yeah, like I wasn't the one who ran this. It was, the dudes with the blazers and t-shirts. I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like Alex is not that. Like Alex is very much.
was
a person of the people. You know what I mean?
I think a very important part of, and if you're ever wanting to work in esports, anybody that's watching this, we're needing finance people. We're needing people that can redirect these dollars in a correct way, that understand the community and understand the market and what they are. A lot of the mistakes that they made, a lot of the money that they put into the event was unnecessarily wasted on trying to get the general public coming to these events by buying Facebook ad space or Twitter ad space or buying radio time. That's not how you get people to these events. You get people to these events by putting on a good show, putting on a good production. And the only reason why people showed up for the second event is because the event was ran on time. Even though Leffen said it wasn't. The event was ran on time.
Leffen says a lot of things. Don't feel bad.
He also who did he lose to? He lost to someone. He lost to Plup and he lost to, oh my gosh. He's a commentator. Foxman. I think he
commentator?
Yeah, he plays Green Fox. Tall. He's about like 6'4".
Holy shit.
He lost to a commentator. Shouldn't have lost. Lost to a commentator. Everyone made fun of him. Then he roasted GTX. But basically, what we need to do is it's kind of like the Nintendo thing. We have the suits trying to control a grassroots community, and they're not understanding the market, not understanding what we have. And I think metagame is going to bring a lot of these issues to light. I think a lot of these issues are come out. I wish... Oh, yeah, it was Lovage. Lovage beat Leffen that event. The double shine off ledge. I remember.
Yep.
I remember that. I remember sitting at the TO desk, staring up at the screen. I'm like, oh, no. I was like,
because you know it's coming.
Yeah, I was like, I'm getting blasted on Twitter.
It's coming. Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I think metagame's going to shine a lot of the light on, I hope it shows the good, and I hope it shows the bad. I really do. I really hope it makes people aware of what industry we're working in and how it actually functions and how it doesn't function sometimes. I feel like
it's very easy for companies to come in and think, oh well, Smash they must need money, right? Like, hey, look, we got money. Like, do you think you're the first esports org that's approached us with money? We need more than money, okay? We've been running off of imaginary money and storylines for the last 20 years of our lives with I'm talking 0.1% support from Nintendo and companies that can't support the way they want because Nintendo won't allow them. So you need to bring us something more than money, okay? You need to bring us some support, some love, something that will help amplify the experience, because that's all Smash is at this point. Smash is not a job. Smash is not it's an experience, okay? Yep. If you want to come experience, it's like Disney. Like, I don't go to Disney trying to get on roller coasters and that shit doesn't exist. Like, Disney is just an experience. Like, I'm trying to go here and experience something and take it in. If you're not going to amplify that, if you're not going to add to it, make it better, you need to leave. Okay. Like, that's pretty much where we're at right now in Smash. Okay. We got people to lean on. We got a very strong moral support group. We can do things. We've canceled people. We got our own conduct panel. Okay, we're building things without company support. You need to help aid shit like that. Don't come here throwing dollars in our face. We don't care.
We have people that care about the game, not about the material.
For years.
Yeah, we have people that care about the game, not people that care about the material that comes with the game. And we have people that care about the people that play the game.
That's right.
I feel like there's a big misconception. I feel like this is with any esport, period, is there's a big misconception right now of we need money, throw dollars at us. No, we need actual support. We need people that care about our community, and we need people that are going to run the shit right. Because when it doesn't run right, that's when we freak out.
Yeah. Well, because there's been people who've been going 0-2 since 2008. You think they can't give a shit about money? Like, that person's going to keep flying. Like, he knows he's hot garbage. He's like, hey, look, I'm just here to get my ass beaten and have fun, and get some games. I don't want to, if you're not going to add, or make that person, because the top players, when you go to a tournament, the percentage of people who can actually win the tournament is very small. So, like, Hungry Box, Mango, these guys, these top players, Tweak, MKLA, okay, they're not hurting on cash, okay? Their needs are already met. They just need to show up and play, be treated fairly and properly, and they're there for a good time. Let's make sure the people who go 0-2, the people who lose every game in round-robin pools, the people who are still waiting for their Smash and Splash pool to start, make sure that those people are having fun.
I cannot believe you just said that. Oh, my God.
I love Josh to death, but, Smash and Splash needs a rework, okay? I love Smash and Splash. I have fun. But I don't want to. I'm not shitting on Josh. I'm just poking fun at my Midwest boy,
there's more people TOing that than Josh.
You need some help.
Yeah, there's more people TOing that than Josh. No, Smash and Splash, bro. I was the only person to work equipment that event.
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
okay,
I was stressing. I was sitting in a dark corner room of this water park resort, disassembling monitors as Wizrobe was having the tournament of his friggin' life, and I couldn't watch any of it because I was dismantling Asus monitors in the corner trying to fit them back in the box. I was losing it. Great event, though. Great top 8.
Yeah, it was a great top 8. I had a lot of fun. I was a little preface too, because people might go back and watch those VODs. Okay, I was completely shit-faced on commentary. Like, it's just, you could pull a VOD up if you want.
Did you go to that bar and get the sacred combo?
I got Wombo combo.
Oh, I got the sacred combo.
I got D steroid. Okay, like, if anybody in the chat, go back and listen to Cosmos versus Leon. Okay, I did commentary for that. I was a different version of myself. I was gone.
So they had that sacred combo drink, right? That big red one. My coworker was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go walk to main stage," and it was where our booth was. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna walk to main stage and come back, and I bet you $1 this drink will just be gone." And I just gotten it. And he goes, "No shot." I was like, "All right." I come back 2 minutes later. I just straight there, straight back, gone. Gives me the $1. I go buy another one, and I start disassembling monitors. It was I was having a good time,
dude,
though.
There's nothing wrong with getting bro, me at Genesis 5, there's an infamous photo of myself with I think I don't have a shirt on, and I have a bottle of hen in my hand, I think. Oh, God. Where the fuck would I find this photo? I feel like, you know what? I'm going to link it.
That's the one Armada one, right?
What'd you say?
That's the one Armada one, right?
That I think so.
And Leffen and Mango had that crazy loser final set.
Yeah.
I cried in the crowd.
Oh, did you?
Because of that set. I teared up. I sat back and I was like, that was the most beautiful set I ever seen. And then Mango got hot 3-0'd in grand finals.
Yikes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't remember that far back. I just remember this set was
it's in the chat.
Hugs versus somebody, and it was like, oh, here it is right here. Oh God, I am fucked.
Creator professional.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna link it in the Discord.
I got it in the chat already, so
oh, you found it?
The Cosmos versus Leon Bowser.
Oh,
Smash Ultimate top 16.
There's this too. Hold on.
Man, I'm telling you.
Oh God, how do I even send anything?
How can you side bet against the man that's actually in the bracket? Bro? He can throw a match or he can win a match, bro.
The audio's playing in the stream right now.
You become a top player, bet on yourself, okay?
I'm gonna go to Twitch.
Oh man, you are on it.
Okay.
You said bet on yourself. Bet on yourself always.
I am gone, bro. I'm completely destroyed. Like, it is actually bad. It's horrible.
It was a good set, though.
Well, yeah, and I was also working with just some different energy because we can hear the crowd in the background, and I'm like, I've had a great time here. Josh has made it very accommodating. I'm not mad at anything. I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna have me a couple of drinks. I feel like I've worked hard. I'm gonna lose my mind. Why not?
I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm gonna lose my mind. And let me tell you, my minds were definitely lost. I was like, who am I? What's going on here? Oh wait, I thought I followed the page. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Oh my god. Is this what I look like on stream? Oh my god, I look horrible. What the hell, guys? I gotta.
Are you talking about our stream?
Yeah, I was like, you gotta put a filter on me next time. I look bad.
Hey, filter, dude.
I'm joking.
You got the lights. You got the Wolverine poster, dude. I'm sitting behind me with some ominous light and an empty melee setup, dude. I'm looking like I'm living lonely right now. And then Mike has a fridge. And then Mike has a fridge behind him. Like, you're fine, Rodney. You're fine, I swear.
What camera are you using, Mike? Your camera is really nice. What is that?
It's just the built-in webcam for the. I have the Surface Book by Microsoft.
Flex.
That's he's just a little. He's like, I got a little.
I got that $1,800 laptop that you don't have.
I just walked my butt in one day to a Microsoft store and grabbed me. I was like, "What's the best laptop you got?"
I want you. All right, what we're gonna do? Oh, I see you in the chat, Ronnie.
Oh God, that is a very
Yo, my goodness.
I'm having a blast.
That bottle is so good.
Yeah, I'm having a blast. It was my first time in Oakland. They were passing a bottle around, and I'm like, you know what? Commentary's gone great. It's time to get destroyed. I don't know why I don't have a shirt on. I don't even know why I don't even have socks on. I'm in a different mood.
You kept those shoes though.
I did. I don't know why the shoes stayed though.
Those shoes are fire. I'm telling you, bro. You're best dressed every event. I see you, and I'm like.
Oh, come on, man.
That's why I started wearing button ups and shit too. I was like, oh no, here we go.
I don't know what happened. Like, I think I was taking my clothes off and then decided halfway in, nah, no socks. We're just gonna shoe it today. And I'm shoeing it, and then can't find my original shirt, so I got a sweater on and gym shorts. I don't know, something happened.
Yo, that's the year Plup won, my guy.
Yep.
I wasn't there that year. I had to miss it. I was in. I do hate Oakland. I don't like Oakland.
Do you really?
I do not like Oakland that much.
Okay.
I miss the San Jose venue.
Fair enough. I just like NorCal better than SoCal, but Oakland is definitely.
Whoa!
Oakland needs some help.
Whoa! All right, I came from SoCal, dude. Riverside, IE.
I just don't. There's something about SoCal culture. Like, everything wrong with Instagram is just dumped into one area.
That's true.
And it's just
you're 100% right.
It's like either you go to LA where everybody thinks you're ugly, or you go to New York and everybody thinks you're dumb. Like, there is no in between. It's like when I go to LA, it's just too many people judging. But when I go to Oakland, I'm like, I feel more at home here.
My friends quoted me in the chat.
Whatever.
My friend quoted me in the chat because I said I wasn't going to the event. He said, "Why?" I said, "Why would I go to Oakland?" No, but I do remember watching that event from home.
Okay.
I was plastered. We had fireworks left over from New Year's, and they may or may not have been lit in our 2-bedroom apartment when Plup won. And confetti and sparks were flying everywhere. I was running around the apartment. I was hype. I was so hype. That up air, up throw, classic.
Wow.
Up throw, up air, classic. No, but man, I miss Genesis. Dude, you look fantastic in that picture.
I am completely destroyed. Like, I think I'm just now, like, coming to terms with, like, I'm a thing. Like, I'm gonna be doing these for a while.
I love the brutal of Amza.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
the brutal of Amza, dude. 1585 through 1588.
I need that as like a biblical painting. Like, I need that. I want that on my wall.
It's so good. I'm putting that on stream real quick. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, I'm putting it on stream.
Well, I do want to. I'll jump in real quick because I think you guys touched on it. With we've all had terrible event experiences. Working behind the scenes, and even maybe as attendees as well. And I think the crazy thing is one, there's a potential oversaturation. Roddy, you mentioned it earlier. Like there's multiple events happening not only on the same weekend, but even in close proximity to one another. It's pulling attendance. Well, why would I travel there when I could go to this one? But then also that too, the events, like standards have risen so much compared to what they used to be.
Sure. I agree. That it's so odd. Even looking at like some of the tournaments in 2013 and 14, like I'm looking at KTAR, I'm looking at Skatar, I'm looking at Zenith, I'm looking at Paragon, and I'm just looking at like the ingredients that make those tournaments, and what we allowed them to give us and what we worked off of. We worked off of very little to nothing. And then, I fast forward just like a short year and a half, maybe even 2 years later, we got stuff like Esports Arena now. We got 2GG, and we got all these really big tournaments and stuff. And I'm like, it's beautiful to see. And I mean, of course, I've had some bad tournament experiences. I've had some like, okay, I thought I was just doing top 32. You want me to do top 32 and all of it? I was like, oh, we didn't agree to this, but I don't want to be that guy. Okay, I am very bad at being like the bad guy, like hey, I'm not doing this because I didn't get paid to do this. Like I always try to find what, this person did kind of do this thing for me. Like they're kind of working with me, whatever. But like, there's just some tournaments where I've had to put my foot down. Like, hey, that's in the top 32. Okay. Top 32, 8 is a little different. Okay. That's another 2.5, potentially 3 hours, maybe 4. If everything goes best of 5, we got to talk about money before we just, there was even just a tournament that happened just a couple weekends ago. It was an online event, and I was really excited to do it. I'm like, hey, here's my photo, if you want to, announce it, whatever. And then somewhere along the line, communication got really staticky. And then it's literally the 11th hour. It's like before the event starts, they're like, Rod, here's your schedule. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about when I was commentating. I don't know how much I'm getting paid. And I hate, there's not enough people skills in the world to not make that conversation awkward. I hate having that conversation. I'm like, I thought we agreed already. Like, I don't get why you are. So I've had a couple of those. I try my hardest to avoid them. I always try my hardest to be like, hey, I will do this thing for you. Like, I don't care if it costs money. Like this podcast, like, yeah, I'll come in like, I don't care. I will come and do this. Now, maybe another personality would be like, hey, I do this, but I want you to pay me. And I'm not like that. I don't want anybody to ever feel like, that's me. Like if I wanted that, I would have told you right then and there. But I've definitely been finessed out of some commentary in the past. But these are lessons. They're not losses. They're lessons. I've learned.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut over to this is the image.
Oh, the photo.
Sir Rodney.
Oh my goodness.
Sir Rodney the Great.
Oh God.
Oh, it's so good.
I believe the term they use on Reddit is accidental renaissance.
It is a biblical photo though. You are not even looking anywhere remotely near the direction that everybody else is looking at. Everybody else is the sheep, and you are just faced the other way, and it looks beautiful and majestic.
It definitely gives me vibes of the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Like, why is this guy? How did he get here?
We know.
I don't know what the fuck. I think Hugs just beat Amsa.
Yep.
Like it just like
first time top 8, right? Genesis.
I think so. Like it just happened, and I forget the photographer's name, but she goes to everything. She's really nice. Let me look really quick. I think it's oh god.
That may have been Lee.
Lee Chen is that how that's pronounced? Lee Chen. I think. Let me look her up. I want to make sure I get her name correct. Oh, no, that's not her. Oh God, what is this person's name? Okay, now I look like an asshole for getting the name wrong. I want to make sure she gets her flowers, okay? Oh God.
Did you tag her?
I felt like I did.
I'm not seeing it.
So in the very bottom left-hand corner of it, underneath the G5, it actually has the
hello,
it's Lee, L-I photography.
Oh, hello. Okay, wait a minute. Hello. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Hello, it's Lee. So yeah, everybody follow her on Twitter. Hello, it's Lee. Okay, she's an awesome photographer. She doesn't only just do Smash; she does everything. I've bumped into her a handful of times. I'm sure both of you have as well too.
CEO,
her work is amazing. Works amazing.
Combo breaker.
Yeah, she definitely caught me at a very
dude, it's so good. It's actually perfect.
But that's the crazy thing too, is like, think about how many people are in that photo that may not even recognize. It's almost like Where's Waldo? They're just looking, oh, I remember being there in the crowd, and they're looking for themselves. There's people that have looked at this photo and may have never even seen you, even though you're front and center. Like, and that's the beauty of being in a crowd like that, is you can see yourself retrospectively. You can see, oh yeah, I remember I was sitting there, I was third row, blah blah blah. But look at that mass of people, obviously pre-COVID. It's kind of causes some anxiety now, but that's a thing of beauty. It really is.
All hearing this, I see Miho from Ultimate, of course. Trigger warning. Anti is here. He's no longer with the community, but he's there. Who else is here? Oh God, this is Melee too. So I know this crowd is stacked. I mean, look, like nobody's even sitting on the Smash 4 side. Like that's dead. Like everybody, the whole. I mean,
all the way back to the Gaming Gen booth. Yeah. That big booth in the back is always the Gaming Gen booth, the merch booth.
And they're not even. I know that you all have to be standing up. Like it's. Oh my God.
Oh, I sneak my way up to the front row, dude. So where Alex at?
That's right.
Sorry, Tough. I always tell our boss, man. I mean, I'm gonna clean up, and then I'm gonna clean. A Genesis is the last time it happened. I woke up, I stayed up. I started cleaning. I started tearing down because I could at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't sleep. I woke up and started tearing down just to make sure I made it to the top 8.
Nice.
It was rough.
But yeah, Mike, to answer your question, I've definitely had some great tournament experiences, of course, as you can probably see in that photo from Genesis. But I've also had some bad ones too. And I think no matter like which way I look at it, spending a lot of time home for COVID, with everything that we've been doing in the world, it's made me realize that it was never about. Of course, I wanted to be a commentator. I wanted to, I didn't want to be the best commentator, but I wanted it to be like, I wanted to have the respect. Everybody wants to have respect for their craft. They want to be respected. And I was like, I want people to take me serious. I want people to reach out to me. I want to, I want to work events. But I realized that it wasn't, about the money. It wasn't about all the fancy stuff. It was about like just being around people and being around friends. Like now, luckily for COVID, I have roommates that I can lean on emotionally, of course, economically, whatever. We can depend on each other. But there's some people who live by themselves, who really use tournaments and traveling as their way to get social interactions and stuff. And I really feel for them. Or like, the parents who are, and my kids are home all the damn time now. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, they can't go to school. They can't do this. So I'm very happy and I'm very lucky to, to be in the position that I am in. But I will say that I do miss it. I like this newfound time on my hand. I know that this time did not come unwarranted. I know it came at the expense of a lot of lives being lost. But when the world gets better, like I would very much like to go to a tournament, see my friends, long hugs, like I'm very much, I'm an affectionate person like that, like grab dinner, something, I want to get back to it soon.
I'll cry, man. My first time back, I'll cry 100%. Because I mean, it's one of those things where it's hard work and you definitely don't realize what you have until it's gone. And it's like I've had to completely change occupations. Luckily, I'm still hosting like online tournaments for games that allow online tournaments. But the first event back in person, I'm gonna be overwhelmed. I've had dreams about it. I'll have dreams about it, where I'm at an event and I'm hanging out with the people that I care about and that I got to see once a month. It felt like, or maybe more than once a month, And now it's just like it's just gone. But I say we try to end on a positive note. Is there anything extra that we want to end for on tonight? It's midnight and a half here on the Pacific. I bet you guys are tired.
My sleep schedule has been completely fucked since I got back from Australia. Like my sleep schedule has not been able to recover since all this started. So it's whatever.
I've been on a pretty tight sleeping schedule with my new work. I get up at 6:30 in the morning every morning to make sure I can stream some Call of Duty and then do some stuff that I need to on the side. And then I go to work at 11 a.m. And then I get home about when I messaged you 5 minutes. It's a production director's 5 minutes. It's like 5 minutes, maybe, kind of.
But I was here 30 minutes early for you, so it's all good.
Oh man, don't make me feel bad. Dude, when I said 5 minutes, I was like, I just like busted in the door. I was like, I gotta change. I might have stolen my work clothes.
I mean, bro, I told you guys I was watching abandoned Disney, like, you know, theme parks and stuff. Like, I was definitely in another dimension, so I could have waited all day.
Well, let's end on this. What would you guys like to see from future productions with this online space that we're in?
Wow. I feel like that question just encompasses so much. It's I mean, I think it probably more camaraderie on our end. You know, I like the fact that, you know, we're running Melee Online and Ultimate together. I think that's really cool. But I think a lot of what I'd like to see maybe even stems from something a little bit deeper than just production. I would like to see us as a community support ourselves a little bit more. You know, the only time we really come together as Smashers is if we are talking about shit we hate. You know, I don't feel a lot of support from both sides. You know, and even rewinding and looking back at the Salem versus Leffen stuff on Twitter, you know, months ago, or I think last year, more than months. Sorry, every day has been March since March. But a lot of what Salem said was right. You know, and not to place all the blame on the Melee community, because Ultimate, Smash 4, Brawl, of course, we share a lot of blame in this as well. But, you know, there is the prestige, there is the lore, there is the superstardom that some of these Melee people walk around with, you know, and it's hard not to have that. And, of course, you know, Ultimate, you know, we have our stigma as well around us. I'd like us to come together, kind of like how we were for that short period of time in Project M, where we had, again, trigger warning, I'm just thinking of names. You know, we had like Anti was playing Ultimate, or playing Project M, excuse me. We had Pink Fresh, they were playing. But then, you know, we also had them pitted up against people like Mewtwo King and versus Zero, and Armada was playing, and Mango was playing for a little bit. You know, I want to get back to that. Chillin played Brawl too. Chillin played Snake.
Yep.
I want to get back to that sort of crossoverness. That way on production, you know, production has an easier time, you know, delegating what game gets what and when and why. I always feel like production gets put in a hot seat when it's like, man, well, which top 8 comes first? Well, you got to do Melee because it's Melee. But yeah, but you know, Ultimate's the new game. Like, how do we do this? So I feel like that's something that starts with us first.
I will say this. Ultimate made a terrible, terrible mistake of giving themselves the late slot, because a lot of their general, just in all the tournaments, Genesis and all that, because I feel like the community there is usually a lot younger, and a lot of them have stuff to do on Monday morning, and I feel like there was a lot of times where I saw the younger people leave early in the night. I the first time I really noticed it was Pound this last year. I was like, man, a lot of these younger people that would have stayed around and watch had to leave. I feel like I don't feel like the premier slot. I feel like the premier slot is a myth. I feel like it's more. It should be more catered to your demographic, and I feel like the Melee community is an older demographic, and I feel like they can stay up a little bit later.
Sure.
Because I would have loved to have seen the Melee community be able to stay around to watch Ultimate, and I would have loved the Ultimate community be able to stay around and watch their own game. But I feel like maybe it ended up being a little bit too late for them. Mike, what is one thing you would like to see?
I want to see things, obviously, in this weird, wacky COVID world that we're living in currently. I would love to see an opportunity to just not take ourselves so seriously. So even just within the Smash Brothers community, like obviously, with Slippy and the cease and desist, and you know, Ultimate does not have great netcode and it's terrible, and you know, take this opportunity to create more opportunity for fan engagement and kind of, you know, do things that are a little off kilter. Like I would love to see an event where like, hey guys, we're doing an invitational. It's these 8 players, but we're going to do fan votes. What stages do they play on? What characters do they play? Maybe do it as like a donation drive. Maybe do it as a charity event.
Kind of how other games do like a content creator series, or like something similar to that.
Yeah, or something that's maybe like a weekly project where it's like, you know, it's like almost think like a UFC card or a boxing card where it's like, hey, on every Wednesday for the next 6 weeks, we're gonna have 3 matches each night, and the fans get to pick what the stipulations are, or maybe the matches are pre-recorded and they are seen as more like legitimate competitive matches that we're used to seeing. Something that's just a little off pace of just, oh hey, it's an online tournament. And something that's a little more creative and engaging for people to latch onto. That's what I want to see. And that stretches out far even beyond. I know that I brought up earlier, it's like, okay, Flashpoint for Counter-Strike Global Offensive is having a $1 million prize pot online tournament. Amazing. But why don't we do some like cross promotion with like musical artists or other internet personalities or anything else that is just more engaging, instead of just always seeing the same
we need to
content.
Cross cultures. We need to cross pollinate.
Yes. Create.
And there's no better time than now because everybody's home.
I agree. I'm with you. I did a Twitch the Vote campaign. I was working with very notable, famous musicians and TV personalities. I mean, I do a lot of stuff like at music festivals and stuff. Like, I agree. We need to cross-pollinate, collab or die. Like, there is no way around it. You need to expand your horizons, gamers. Okay, I know you have other interests. I know you have other musical tastes. Okay, I know you don't just listen to Kingdom Hearts dubstep all day. Reach out. Like, let's like we got Waka Flocka at DreamHack Atlanta, and the same for these musical artists as well. I'm a big Broadway person. I follow Jordan Fisher on Twitter.
Oh, so good.
I love him. He streams every goddamn day on Twitch. I'm like, this is awesome. I love this. T-Pain streams. Lupe Fiasco dabbles in it. Look, even Mia Khalifa has done a little streaming, okay? Now, look, I don't care what you say about her work. All right, it's a work of art, okay? She's a work of art. I'm not saying
film.
she's Van Gogh,
There's a
but she
script.
knows what she's doing. Yeah. All right, she's a pretty all right actress, too, okay? But the point that I'm getting at is that she streams, and that's good for the culture. We need to see more people. We need to let people know that there is other avenues you can tap into. I agree with you, Mike. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, creating something more of like a virtual, I would just like experience in general, just like the bringing different cultures together and having them experience each other would be something way fantastic. Something I would like to see is kind of something that Mike talked about is uniqueness in content. And I know a lot of people give this certain organization that sells hoodies a lot of flack, but what they do provide is entertaining content throughout the week, something that gets people engaged in the personalities, and not only people that are actually in the driving seat playing, but people that are also behind the camera. They put a lot of focus on their production crew. They even have people on camera that are part of their finance crew. I feel like that's something that's super important, because I feel like there's a big tunnel vision that a lot of people have. It's either you're a player or you're not, or you're a commentator or you're not. Hey, we need camera people, we need finance people, we need analytics people, we need all these different types of people in our industry. We need musicians, we need editors, we need directors, we need producers. Like, we need all of these people that should have experience in all these different type of cultures that can work in our industry. And I feel like there is a wallop of knowledge that is just not there that could be had. And I think I'm very grateful to have had you, Rodney, on this, because you provided a lot of perspective that people that are trying to play and trying to compete in this industry, they may have discovered something through you of, hey, maybe I want to be a personality on the camera. Maybe I want to be an MC, because you've done a lot of MCing and you're great at that too. Like you've diversified yourself. You say, hey, I might not be the best player, but where can I work myself in this industry that I love, and how can I get involved? And that's something that all three of us has done. I'm not good at Smash Brothers. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fantastic Halo player, and I will destroy you in Call of Duty. But I love hosting brackets. I love being able to communicate with people and setting up something. There's nothing more satisfying to me than setting up an event and seeing a sea of people play on those and making their own memories on something that I've set up for them.
One of my favorite taglines whenever I'm working events, specifically like with gaming generations or like behind the scenes logistics and stuff, when people approach you and you're like, oh hey, I see like you're working this event or whatever it is, and trying to explain to them, the best tagline that I provide is like, we know that we're doing our job when you have no idea what our job is.
Yeah.
Damn, that was deep. Holy shit.
There's a lot of behind the scenes lifting and moving of mountains that nobody gets to see. But the payoff at the end of the day is everybody gets to enjoy that event. You're creating a common space for people to come together and then pack it up and go to the next one.
Well, that's the video game proverbs. It's like right in there with I got a really funny one that's like, we only use it in fighting games, but my boy is like, a move that fast should not be that strong. But conversely, a move that strong should also not be that fast.
Yep.
So it's right in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, tonight has been crazy. Easily our longest episode. So much to have talked about. Rodney, thank you for explaining exactly to the people what you do and how you handle yourself. I had to defend myself at some point, and Mike tried to make me mad a little bit at the beginning of the episode, trying to be like, "Hey, you know what? This is a cool prize pot." I'm like, "No, that's some change. Get that out." No, I loved this podcast a ton. But Rodney, you're about to experience something that I do every single time that we end.
Okay.
You cannot hear the audio. If you have the stream up, you can.
Okay, hold on, let me pull it up.
I'm about to.
On freestyle?
No, dude, I'm not there yet. I've had about 3 beers worth of Seattle beer because Seattle won their game. You know, I got to keep on brand. Sounders. Come on. One more star. Ohio, Columbus, you're going down, Mike, this weekend. No, just kidding. I hope it's a good game. I hate your friend though.
That's all we can hope for.
Yeah. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play some music.
Uh-oh.
And I'm gonna slowly fade this lo-fi gamer beat into the ears of your Astro A40 with the TR Pro mix amp.
Oh shit.
Not sponsored by Astro. Turtle Beach, you're just get a better mix amp. But I just want to take this time and say thank you to everybody that came into the chat. Thank you, Rodney, so much for coming on and being our first guest. We made this 11th episode very special. We now have our emote, the Grunt Birthday Party emote in chat. So if you don't subscribe, you're kind of a doo-doo head. You know, every now and then I'll give subs. So I see some of you dropping the yays.
Mike, I got sub too. Oh, I didn't even see that.
I gifted you, Rodney. I gifted you from here to the moon.
Thank you.
This has been your host. My name is Refresh, and next to me is Mohawkmike. Say your name, Mohawk.
I'm Mohawkmike.
Thank you. I mean, we do this every week, dude. Come on. And below us is, like I said, the best voice, the best dressed, one of my heroes in the industry, Rodney. Dude, perfect first guest. I'm not even gonna let you say anything. Actually, do you want to say one last thing?
Thanks for having me. Everybody who tuned in, you're awesome. Big thank you for, tuning in as always. I mean, the community needs this, whether we're talking about Smash or anything else. This is the time to create content if you can. You have something to say, build a platform, speak. Trust me, if you talk, people will listen. You'll be surprised how many people feel like aren't listening to them. How many people feel like they just talk and they're yelling into the void. Make a podcast. I assure you, people will come up. So, again, just big thank you for having me, man. Like, this has been awesome. And I'll be down to come back, sometime soon in the future.
Send the message. Just send the message. Maybe next time you come back, we'll have more. We'll have a structured show. Now that you've been here already and you've told the people about yourself, maybe you could do a full show with our opinion pieces and the weird pictures that we find on the internet. That we put up. But we're gonna go ahead and slide into this transition like a beautiful Italian man sliding on his knees after scoring a World Cup winning goal in 2006. I miss those days. Maybe if your team wasn't so old, you could be competing for another World Cup. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and cut the audio.